the great virtues out of compassion for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach us how to leave suffering, attain bliss and birth and death, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tận thinh, mỹ thứ pháp hội cập nhật thiết chúng sanh. Tịnh chuyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã môn, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đắc lạc, tốt chứng vô sanh. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Nam mô Sananto Suchedo Ye Lahadi San Miao Samputo Xie. Nam mô Tathagata Yadaya Lahade Tamil Tambo Datoa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now I have come to receive and maintain it within my sight and hearing about the fact of thus come one's true and actual being. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai jian wan jian an zao yu wo jin jian wen de shou qu yuan jie ru lai zheng xue yi. All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Shiva, Venerable Sanghas, and all good known advisors, Amitofo. 诸佛菩萨、师父上人、各位沙弥、各位上智沙弥尼、各位上智sư Amitofo. Chư Phật Bồ Tát kính thưa Hòa Thượng Tiên Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Welcome everyone. Today is 26th of April, 2015. We are in Rosemead to continue discussing the Heart Sutra. You should be on slide 113. We are continuing discussing this Buddhist Sutra, one of the more famous Buddhist Sutra there is. Tiếp tục giảng cái kinh Tâm Kinh, một kinh mà nổi tiếng trong Phật giáo. Because a lot of people recite it, rất nhiều người tụng cái kinh này. Even later, after we done this lecture, we recite this as part of our transference for the rebirth assistance. Khi mà làm một hướng mạng sanh phải tụng kinh này nữa. And it has a wonderful thing because even though you don't understand it, mặc dù không có hiểu, but the mere fact, because for example we recite it in Chinese, mình sẽ tụng tiếng Hoa. What language do you think the ghosts and spirits speak? Cái vị nghĩ tụi ma quỷ nó đọc nó nói tiếng gì? Anyone knows? Tân Hương. Ma quỷ nói tiếng gì? Tiếng Triều Châu. Is it Triều Châu? Or is it English? Or Vietnamese? Or Korean? What do you think? Cái vị người ma quỷ nó nói tiếng gì bây giờ? Tiếng Từ Châu, tiếng Đà Hán, tiếng Nhật Bản hay tiếng gì? What do you think? They understand all language. This is so American. Ông này ông nói là hiểu hết tất cả danh từ. Since when? You guessing. I don't know. I just ask doesn't mean I know the answer. Hỏi đâu có nghĩa là phải biết trả lời đâu. And this is what's interesting about comprehension. Cái này cái đặc biệt của cái sự hiểu biết. Okay. The two parts of your comprehension. Cái hiểu biết cái việc có hai phần. Did you know that? What are those two? Hai phần gì vậy? Yes. Number one, the comprehension at the front end is your thinking mind. Thứ nhất là cái óc suy nghĩ của quý vị. It recognizes English, it recognizes Vietnamese, it recognizes Korean. Cái óc quý vị nó nghe được cái âm thanh mà nó nhận, nó hiểu được. So nghe được tiếng Hoa, nghe tiếng Tàu, nó nghe được tiếng Đại Hàn này nọ. Okay. And so that's what happens. So if you are reciting or you are talking a different language that it doesn't know, then it will not be able to comprehend. Thành ra nói nếu mình nói dùng cái danh từ khác người ta không nghe, cái ngôn ngữ người ta không hiểu, nghe mà không hiểu được thì chịu thôi. Okay. However, okay, there's still another part to the comprehension. Có cái phần khác. Okay, I think I'm being under attack somehow. Very good. Excuse me. Let me kill this guy. Oh, take a minute. Let's kill this guy. Now, and that's Cincina, in the future, can you remove the web companion here? I do not like it on this computer. I don't care for this web companion. Okay, never mind. So it's killed. All right. There's a part where something called the Buddha nature. Cái phần thứ nhì là cái Phật tính của quý vị. It's able to comprehend anything. Cái Phật tính quý vị nó có thể hiểu bất cứ cái gì. To understand is not restricted, limited to the language used. Nó không bị hạn chế bởi cái ngôn ngữ. Do you realize that? There's something called the Buddha nature. Có một cái gọi là cái Phật tính. Just like what is Buddha nature? What is this Buddha nature? Phật tính là cái gì? For example, children, con nít, they can very quickly sense whether you like them or not. Con nít nó gặp mình, nó biết mình thích nó là không thích nó ngay lập tức. Right or not? Hey, young lady, Jocelyn, is that true? That you can tell that someone likes you or dislike you right away? Am I correct? No? You can't? Shucks. You did not earn your lunch today, young lady. Too young to comprehend the concept of earning lunch. Con nít thường nó nhầy lắm, nó biết là người ta thích hoặc là người ta ghét mình. Okay, có ác cảm hay là có thiện cảm với mình. That's quite common. In a lot of people, it's called instinct. Nhiều người gọi là cái linh tính, lĩnh sinh. Mình biết, you know things you cannot express. Mình biết được. Beyond words, beyond expression. That's the thing. So this is what happens. When you recite the sutra in Chinese, which we later will, thành ra khi quý vị đọc cái tụng cái kinh này, mà lát mình sẽ tụng hồi hướng công đức đó, vãng sanh đó. We recite it in Chinese. And even though you don't understand it, mặc dầu quý vị không có hiểu nó, okay? But the mere fact you listen to the sound that's being made, mà mặc dầu quý vị chỉ cần nghe cái âm thanh thôi đó. What happens is that sound is registered by the Buddha nature. Okay, cái âm thanh nó được cái Phật tính nó nghe, and it does its own magic, và nó có một cái tuyệt vời nó xảy ra way beyond my comprehension, thầy không biết luôn nữa. But what happened is that this is why we recited. Mình cố ý mình tụng nó để cái gì? What happened is that when the ghost spirits hear this, thành người ngạ quỷ đó, quỷ thần nó nghe cái kinh này đọc tiếng Hoa đó, okay, it has a certain effect on them. They are able to let go. Tự nhiên có một cái cảm ứng là họ có thể xả được. They can let go. They can let go of what? Of their anger. Bớt cái giận đi. Okay? Because these are the ghosts and spirits who are preventing the creating obstructions for the deceased to attain rebirth of the Pure Land. 谢谢你啊，我的啤酒来了。
对对。
Yeah, my beer, right? See, this is vegetarian beer. It's just you who are new to this, okay? Served in a beer glass, perfect. See, the wet people have no clue. Why do they see sometimes the master drinks some beer? It looks like some beer. So I have to explain this is vegetarian beer. 0% alcohol. 谢谢你啊。Okay. So what happened is that these ghosts and spirits, they listen to the sound. Okay. But in hearing it, they able to somehow calm down, okay, and let go of their hatred, of their angry mind. Thành cái quỷ thần nó nghe được cái kinh này, mặc dù không hiểu gì hết, này cái tâm có cái cảnh, có cái cảm ứng, có cái ảnh hưởng, là cái tâm họ bỗng nhiên họ có thể hiền dịu lại và xả bớt cái sân hận. And these are the ghosts and spirits that are causing problems for the deceased. Đây là những cái người mà họ đang tạo cái sự cản trở, làm sự phiền não cho những người vãng sanh, đang muốn vãng sanh. So that's why we recite this mantra, and it has its own magic. Thành đọc cái kinh này, nó có một cái ảnh hưởng rất là tốt. Okay? All right. So so that's why it's very popular, because it's very short and yet has its own magic. Mặc dù nó kinh nó rất là ngắn, it doesn't make sense for most people who recite it. Những người mà người ta nghe kinh này, even the Buddhists, they've been reciting for 20, 30 years, they still don't get it. Những người đọc kinh 20-30 năm mà không có hiểu như thế. In fact, I once listened when I first became fully ordained. Thì ra lúc mà thầy mới bắt đầu được thọ thì cao giới đó. I went to a famous Vietnamese master, very, very famous. Very, very famous. Tới cái khóa tu của một cái vị hòa thượng Việt Nam rất là nổi tiếng, rất là nổi tiếng. And he explained this Heart Sutra. Ông giảng cái kinh tâm kinh này. And I listened to it, and then at that point, I even disagree with his understanding already. Hồi đó mà Sa Di thầy đã không đồng ý với hòa thượng. I thought that he didn't understand what he's talking about. Hồi đó thầy không tin ông đã hiểu cái tâm kinh. Anyway, so we are on slide 113. Bây giờ trong tấm 113, the Sutra text says that so too are feeling, cognition, formation, and consciousness. Thọ tưởng hành thức diệt phục như thị, sâu sẵn xính sự, y phu rú sự. Meaning that we're talking about feeling, cognition, formation, and consciousness are the remaining four skandhas. Đang nói về những cái bốn cái uẩn còn lại. See, for those you are new, there are a lot of new people here today, so let's spend a few minutes bring them up to speed a little bit. Thầy nói cái vì mấy người mới tới nghe một tí. The skandhas are the Buddhist term to describe the four components of something called the ego. Cái ngũ uẩn á, là cái 5 cái yếu tố của cái ngã của quý vị. When people mention the word ego, khi những người you heard the word ego before, right? Especially you children, right? Okay. Ego from the Buddhist perspective is broken into 5 components. In Phật giáo chúng ta đó phân tích cái bản ngã mà thành 5 cái phần, 5 cái thành phần. Okay. The reason you have an ego, people have an ego, lý do quý vị có cái bản ngã, okay, it's because you have these 5 components. Okay, cái bản ngã nó có 5 cái phần này. Number 1, okay, there's a form, meaning it's a body. Thứ nhất là có cái thân. You think of yourself as the body you have. Chẳng hạn quý vị nghĩ là cái thân quý vị là quý vị. You think the body is you. Okay. Number 2, thứ nhì, you have feelings. Quý vị có cái thọ tức là cái cảm tưởng. Okay. For example, you feel sad, you feel happy, that's you, right? Quý vị bỗng nhiên thấy sung sướng, quý vị thấy buồn, đó là cái bản ngã quý vị. That's part of your ego. It feels good, it feels bad, okay? That's your ego. Number 3, you thinking, you're able to think. Thứ 3 là quý vị suy nghĩ. You always thinking. As soon as you wake up, you think non-stop until you go to sleep. Am I correct? Cái bản ngã quý vị, you see, Jocelyn understands everything I explained today. Wow. And she doesn't, but she can't tell whether someone likes her or not. Cái thứ 3 là cái tưởng, tức là cái óc suy nghĩ của quý vị. Number 4 is something called formation, activity. Thứ 4 gọi là hành. This is underground, meaning that the mental activities that underground, for example, that drive your heartbeat, that okay, or your sleep, your mental activities when you sleep. Hành tức là những cái hoạt động của cái óc của quý vị mà lúc mà quý vị vi tế quý vị không có biết. Okay, hàng lúc ngủ. Okay. Hoặc là những hoạt động mà nó điều khiển cái tim nó đánh nhịp của quý vị. Okay, so far so good. And number 5, finally, và cuối cùng thứ 5 là cái thức, consciousness. Consciousness is the lowest level where it's the awareness. You're aware of things. Okay, okay. So those are the components of the ego. Thành cái ngã nó có 5 cái thành phần như vậy. Any questions? Ai thắc mắc gì không? Okay. So this is how the Buddha dissected the ego. Thành đây là Đức Phật dạy mà phân tích ra cái bản ngã này. Why is that? Tại sao như vậy? Because the Buddha says these 5 components are illusions. Đức Phật nói 5 cái thành phần này là nó chỉ là vọng tưởng, là giả thôi. They're illusions. They're not real. Okay. And if you break through this fog of illusion, nếu quý vị mà phá tan qua cái vòng vô minh này đó, then you go back to something called the true self. Là quý vị trở về cái gọi là cái chân ngã, where you are always happy. Và quý vị sẽ luôn luôn an lạc, peaceful and happy, an lợi. Okay, that's why the Buddhists want to study these 5 components of the ego: form, feeling, okay, cognition, form, feeling, thinking, cognition, formation, and consciousness, so that they can break through all these mirages and go back to the true self. and end all suffering. They have no more suffering. Mà quý vị khi mà tới đã phá qua được cái vòng cái ngũ uẩn này, quý vị trở về cái sự an lạc, nó trường cửu. Okay? So for example, ví dụ, so you think, what does it have to do with me? Quý vị đang ngồi, con người đang suy nghĩ cái này nói xa nó gần, nói nó viển vông làm cái gì? It may not have anything to you yet. Quý vị chưa biết được. But it matters to the three people here who are aspiring for rebirth of the Pure Land. Nhưng họ có cái quan hệ rất là lớn lao cho ba cái người mà đang được làm 49 ngày đó. You know why? Anyone know? Có biết tại sao họ quan hệ với họ không? Why? Bến Tre. She doesn't know. Anyone? Okay, I'm sleepy too. Too much food today. Why is it relevant to the people we are doing the 49 days? What do you think? Why is it relevant? You know, when people go for rebirth, like we're trying to help these people do, quý vị biết những cái người mà khi mà họ muốn họ qua đắc vãng sanh á, mà như mà chúng ta đang cố gắng làm giúp họ đi đó. You know what's going to happen? They go to a place where it's very happy. Họ tới một cái chỗ nó rất là sung sướng. Let me put it this way for you. Thầy nói quý vị nghe nè. You have no clue what I'm talking about. Quý vị không biết thầy nói gì. If I talk about peace and bliss, you don't know, you have no clue. Thầy nói, nếu thầy nói về cái an lạc, quý vị không biết được. But I'm asking you to think about something that makes you so happy. Thầy nói cho quý vị cái ví dụ như vậy. Quý vị tưởng tượng một cái chuyện làm quý vị rất là sung sướng. Think about it. Don't tell us, okay? It remains your privacy, your private life. Và cái chuyện riêng tư quý vị, không ai muốn biết. Okay? So far, so good. Think about what makes you very happy. For some people, it's ice cream. Okay? For others, it's a cheese, a grilled cheese sandwich, and so on. Okay? Some others is different. So think about the thing that makes you happy. So far so good. Giờ quý vị tưởng tượng cái chuyện mà làm quý vị biết mà quý vị làm quý vị sung sướng hạnh phúc nhất. Okay? So far so good. Think about it. Don't tell anyone. Multiply that by 10,000 times. Okay? Nó gấp 10,000 lần. And that's the bliss or more. And that's the bliss that you will experience when you go to Western Bliss Pure Land every single day. Và quý vị lấy cái hạnh phúc đó, quý vị nhân lên 1 vạn. Thì cái hạnh phúc mà quý vị mà khi mà đắc được qua Tây Phương Cực Lạc vãng sanh á, nó gấp ít nhất là như vậy. It's the least happy you feel. Mỗi ngày. And you never experience pain and suffering or illness. Và quý vị sẽ không bao giờ khổ, không bao giờ đau đớn, không bao giờ bệnh hoạn. You never be sick again, ever. And that's the life in the Western Bliss Pure Land. Đó là cuộc sống bên Tây Phương Cực Lạc. So far, so good. That's why the Buddhists aspire to go to the Pure Land upon death. Bởi vì người Phật tử đó, người ta muốn được tới đắc vãng sanh sau khi qua đời. Okay? Any questions? Ai thắc mắc gì không? I've looked at the bliss of the people in this world thì nhìn quan sát những cái sung sướng của mọi người trong cái thế gian, cõi thế gian, trong cái thế giới này đó. I feel it's nowhere even close to the bliss you experience in the Western Bliss Pure Land. Và quý vị biết không, tất cả cái sung sướng mọi người ở đây đó, trong cái thế giới này đó, không thể nào so sánh với cái sung sướng của họ khi họ qua Tây phương Cực Lạc. That's why the Western Bliss Pure Land has an open door policy. Thành ra cái Tây phương Cực Lạc có một cái đặc điểm. You can leave anytime. Quý vị muốn đi lúc nào cũng được hết đó. And no one has left yet because they're unhappy. Và họ chưa ai mà bỏ đi hết. Tại sao vậy? Tại họ chưa và cảm thấy bất hạnh. Once you go to Western Bliss Pure Land, khi mà quý vị qua Tây phương Cực Lạc, here's what happens. You can go and travel anywhere you like. Quý vị đi khắp mọi nơi. You can travel everywhere to go visit the Buddhas. Quý vị viếng thăm tất cả vị Phật. Okay, so you can travel everywhere, and you can see for yourself. Thành quý vị có tự thấy đó. Okay, so that's why you go to Western Bliss Pure Land. Thành bởi vì quý vị muốn, you yourself would also want to go to Western Bliss Pure Land. Trust me. Thầy nói khi chính quý vị cũng nên muốn tìm cách vãng sanh về Tây phương Cực Lạc. Because it's one of the best places in this universe. Đó là những cái chỗ mà có thể tốt nhất trong cái vũ trụ này. Okay? You don't know what I'm talking about. I hope you trust my word. Thầy biết quý vị không có hiểu cái lời thầy nói đâu. Nhưng mà cái hy vọng quý vị tin cái lời thầy nói. Okay? Trust me. There's no better place for all of us than a Western Bliss Pure Land. Không có cái chỗ nào tốt hơn bằng cái Tây phương Cực Lạc đó. So far so good. Now I have your attention here. I hope that I'm grateful, I'm impressed you come here to show that you care. Thành mấy người tới đây ngày hôm nay thì rất là cảm ơn là tại họ tới đây để tỏ cái lòng thương mến của họ. Okay, and that's why I want to share with you that we're working hard to try to send these people to the Pure Land. Thì chúng tôi đang tu hành làm việc gắt gao để mà tạo cái phước báo cho họ đi qua Tây phương Cực Lạc. We need to generate a lot of blessings for them to get there. Okay, and so you are in the process. Quý vị đang làm như vậy. How do you generate blessings? Quý vị làm sao mà tạo phước bây giờ? By doing good things. Làm những chuyện tốt. Today you ate a vegetarian lunch. Ngày hôm nay quý vị ăn chay. Meaning that you are reducing your meat consumption, which is reducing your killing karma. Quý vị bớt ăn thịt á, thì quý vị bớt cái nghiệp sát sanh. And because of that, they benefit from your good deeds. Vì như vậy, những cái người mà đang đợi đây đó, họ đang hưởng cái phước của cái công việc quý vị làm. Does it make sense? So you are making a difference. Rằng quý vị đang có ảnh hưởng tốt nơi đó. Okay? It's not nonsense. When you do things good, like when you do good, khi mà làm chuyện tốt, we all are taking a loss. Tất cả mọi người đều chịu thiệt thòi. Think about it. You could be out there playing and drinking and spending time, have a merry time with your friends. Thay vì mà ở chùa này, cái vị đáng lý là có thể đi quay cine, đi chơi vui vẻ với bạn bè. And yet you come to the temple and sit there and cross your legs and feel uncomfortable. Ngồi đó mà cái chân kéo chân nó khó chịu. Right? It's not comfortable at all. And it's not something you like to do on the weekend. Mà cái việc thường cuối tuần làm chuyện này. So it's making personal sacrifices. Nên cái việc có một sự hy sinh cá nhân, right? And that's when you make sacrifices, you deliberately choose to take losses, that's called creating blessings. Cái vị chịu thiệt thòi như vậy, cái vị đang tạo công đức. Okay? And you listen to the principles, nghe giảng kinh, like explaining the sutras, and you also generating a lot of blessings. Cái vị cũng tạo rất nhiều phước nữa. Okay? So all these good deeds generate blessings, nó tạo nhiều phước. Tài làm chuyện tốt, làm chuyện lành. And that's why these blessings, and later, we generate that we transfer all these blessings to the deceased. Mình sẽ dùng những cái công đức quý vị tạo ngày hôm nay hồi hướng cho người quá cố. So you are making a difference. Trust me, thằng quý vị đang có cái ảnh hưởng lớn đó. Okay? Yes. Do you have a question, young lady? No? Oh, okay. Sorry. Go back to sleep. All right. Any questions? Ai thắc mắc gì không? Okay. Okay. So going back to slide 113, trở về lại tấm 113. I haven't finished my point. Phần nói chưa xong. Xin lỗi. So what happened is that when you go to Pure Land, nói chưa xong thì xin lỗi. Khi quý vị về Tây Phương Cực Lạc, you know what happens? You don't have to work. Quý vị không cần làm việc nữa. You know that? You don't have to go to school. Không cần đi học nữa. It's true. No more school. No more homework. Không cần làm bài vợ nữa. I see the young man is smiling. I would like it too. Okay. Especially I remember when I was your age, I had to go to summer school. There's no time off. Mom would not let me off the hook, even in the summertime. It's nasty. But you go to Pure Land, no more school, no more work. Về Tây Phương Cực Lạc, quý vị không cần phải đi học, không cần phải đi làm việc. Okay. You wear the nice clothes you want to wear. Áo quần gì mình muốn mặc sang đều có hết. Okay. Because it takes a lot of blessings to be there. Ở đó rất nhiều phước tới được. Okay. So what do you do? Làm gì bây giờ? You do something that you don't normally do here. Quý vị làm những chuyện ở đây quý vị làm. You cultivate. Chỉ tu thôi. That's all you do. Day and night you cultivate. Ngày đêm quý vị chỉ tu thôi. So that one day you become a Buddha. Từ ngày kia quý vị sẽ thành Phật. Okay. I know it doesn't sound very exciting to you. Có nhiều người nói tu hành có gì hay đâu. Cultivation is once you get there, you like to cultivate. Ở đây quý vị không thích tu, qua bên kia quý vị thích tu. Here you don't like to cultivate. Over there you like to cultivate. Okay. Here you like to have a good time and waste your time. Ở đây quý vị muốn vui chơi, phí thời giờ của mình, phí tuổi trẻ của mình. Qua bên kia đó thì mình tu. Okay. In fact, when you go to Western Pure Land and you cultivate, and you sit and you cross your legs. Chuyện này lạ lắm. Là cái vị bước qua Tây Phương Cực Lạc mà ngồi đang tu, ngồi xếp bằng lại. Because we cross our legs in the Western Bliss Pure Land. Tây Phương Cực Lạc xếp bằng lại. You know what's something wonderful about it? It's no leg pains. Người xếp bằng chân nó không có đau. Nó là cool. Anyway, you're not impressed. Oh well. Because in the Western Bliss Pure Land, there's no pain. Tại vì bên Tây Phương Cực Lạc không còn cái đau nữa. There's no more pain. Too good to be true. Quý vị tin? Do you believe it? Quý vị có tin không? And that's why it's so wonderful. Life in the Western Bliss Pure Land. Thành bên Tây Phương Cực Lạc cuộc sống nó rất là tuyệt vời như vậy đó. You cultivate, quý vị tu. What do you cultivate? You cultivate in recognizing the five skandhas are illusions. Và bên đó quý vị sẽ tu, quý vị sẽ tu về cái pháp mà giúp quý vị hiểu rằng ngũ uẩn dài không. So when we explain this sutra here, mình đang giảng kinh tâm kinh này, this heart sutra here, you know, they listen. Mình giảng như vậy, họ nghe được. Okay? So they get started already. Họ bắt đầu rồi. They're on their path. They're on the way already. So we benefiting them. Then we đang làm lợi cho họ. And hopefully today you come, those you are new to the temple, for your first time here, quý vị tới đây lần thi nghe giảng kinh, the first time to a sutra lecture, this sutra lecture, you also planting, creating conditions for yourself. Thành quý vị cũng tạo cái phước đức cho quý vị, so that in the future, when you yourself have a chance to go to some bliss pure land, quý vị cũng sẽ có cơ hội để tới Tây Phương Cực Lạc, which I hope you will. Hy vọng quý vị sẽ có cơ hội để tới đó. Then you yourself, you also be practicing the same dharma. Quý vị sẽ tiếp tục tu cái pháp này, cũng tu cái pháp này. You look at your five skandhas until they all are emptied. Quý vị quán tất cả cái ngũ uẩn, 5 ngũ uẩn tới cái lúc mà nó trở thành không. So far so good. Okay? So that's what the sutra explains in this section. Cái phần này giảng ở đó, cái kinh này giảng ở đó là it says that the form is emptiness. Nói là cái sắc là không. Okay? And because form is merely an illusion. Cái sắc, your body, these shapes, okay, may be real to you. Những cái sắc, những cái vật này đối với quý vị nó là because your senses tell you they're real, right? You can touch them, you can feel them. Quý vị thấy nó cảm tưởng là thiệt. But actually they are not real. Thực sự đó họ không có chân thật. Why is that? Because your perception is wrong. Tại vì cái nhãn quan quý vị nó sai lầm. What you don't realize is that these things are deteriorating. Những cái này nó đang rã rời từ từ. Okay, they're changing. Nó đang thay đổi, but you can't see it. They're changing very slowly, thay đổi từ từ. They're disintegrating eventually over time. This will return to dust. Thì những cái này hiện bây giờ nó thiệt sự như vậy. If you look at a long time span, nhìn tới cái cuộc sống, cái mạng sống của cái vật này á, thì cuối cùng nó sẽ bị tiêu tan, nó trở thành lại bụi, trở về cát bụi. They return to dust. They return to nothing. They will disintegrate. Nó sẽ biến mất, nó sẽ bị hư. And that's what is meant by emptiness. Form is emptiness. Thầy mới nói là sắc là không. For that reason. So far so good. Okay? This is only here temporarily. Eventually it will disintegrate. Sự thật là same thing your body, cơ thể quý vị. So it's like her body. Okay? Comes Thursday, it will be disintegrated and returned back to dust. Okay? Thành chẳng hạn như mình chết, mình sẽ bị hỏa táng, thì cái thân mình sẽ trở về cát bụi lại. Okay? That's the meaning of that. So, but however, we are so attached to our body. Nhưng điều của chúng ta rất chấp trước với cái thân này. We think it's real because we only see at one time moment. You look at overall, then you see that it changes constantly and it's dying. Quý vị nhìn cho lâu, đủ lâu, thấy cái cơ thể nó đang thay đổi, và cuối cùng nó sẽ chết, nó trở về cát bụi lại. Okay, return to emptiness. So far, so good. So meanwhile, might as well enjoy it while we still can, right? Nothing wrong with that. Muốn thưởng thụ cái thân này, hưởng thụ như vậy, that's fine. Okay. But the truth is that the people who have a chance, who are interested in knowing the truth, they will realize that the form is not real. They really comprehend, they really understand that form is not real. Những người mà tu hành, người ta từ từ ta tu, ta thấy được cái thân này nó không phải là thật. What's the advantage in doing that right now? Có lợi chỗ nào? You're not bothered. Quý vị không bị phiền não nữa. You're not afflicted. Think about it. Quý vị nghĩ lại cho coi. Think about it. In the morning, because you're so attached to your body, tại vì buổi sáng, vì quý vị chấp trước với cái cơ thể quý vị, what do you need to do in the morning? Every single morning. Đúng chứ? Sáng nào quý vị phải chải tóc phải không? Right? Am I correct? See, that's an attachment. This is an affliction, isn't it? If your hair is not right, you don't, you're unhappy. Nếu cái tóc mà nó xấu, quý vị, now you need to go and to your hairdresser and get it fixed up. Okay, so because of your attachment, your life is mixed with happiness and unhappiness. Vì cái chấp trước đó, lúc thì cuộc sống quý vị lúc nó sung sướng, lúc là bất hạnh. So far so good. Okay, it's due to the fact you're attached to your body. Vì quý vị chấp trước với cái cơ thể này. Any questions? Quý vị thắc mắc gì không? You're not free. Quý vị thiếu cái tự chủ, thiếu cái tự do. Okay, and so the Buddhists look at that as fetters. Tại người Phật giáo gọi cái đó là cái gông xiềng. You are imprisoned by your own desire. Bị cái tham dục đó, nó xiềng cột mình lại. Okay, and that ultimately is unhappiness. Và cái đó là cái bất hạnh. Any questions? The worldly people, ordinary people, they choose to chase after things. Người phàm phu, người ta mong tìm những cái đồ, and they don't realize that no matter what, you can buy a car, you're happy, and then new car, you're happy, and then you drive off the dealer's lot, becomes old, and within a few weeks, it's no longer a new car. It doesn't feel the same anymore. Mua chiếc xe mới thì sung sướng được một tạm thời vài tuần, xong rồi thấy xe nó cũ thì không còn sung sướng lúc trước nữa. And then you have to buy another car eventually to have that feeling again. Nên nó tiếp tục phải đợi rồi mua chiếc xe khác. And you see, we keep on having these moments, a happy, a short moment, and then unhappy a lot longer. Trong cuộc sống chúng ta đó có một cái thời gian rất ngắn là cảm thấy sung sướng, còn cái thời gian mà không sung sướng rất là dài. That's unhappiness. Okay, it's because the attachment to the form. Cái đó là bị chấp cái thân. Let me talk about the feeling. Cái uẩn thứ nhì, the second skanda, feelings. We are all attached to good feelings. Cái người chúng ta nó thích những cái cảm giác thoải mái, sung sướng, right? If people praise us, hoặc là người ta khen mình, okay, we feel good. Okay, but when people criticize it, người ta mà chỉ trích mình, then you feel unhappy. Mình thiếu, mình chỉ trích mình khó chịu. Okay. So far so good. So that's the nature of the feeling. Cái cảm giác như vậy. Because people don't realize that temporary feelings, the feelings are temporary. Những cái cảm giác đó nó tạm thời thôi. Whether it's pleasant or unpleasant, it's all temporary. những cảm giác nó thoải mái hay là khó chịu, nó chỉ là tạm thời thôi. Okay, and they also are illusory. Họ cái đó chỉ là giả tạo thôi. Same thing with thinking. Cái óc quý vị cũng vậy. Your thoughts, they never stay the same. You jump from thought to thought. Cái tư tưởng quý vị nó nhảy tưng từng cái tư tưởng tới tư tưởng khác. Okay. So there's no need to be attached to all these thoughts. Quý vị nên chấp những cái tư tưởng. So these the sutra went through the process explaining to us why these 5 skandhas are basically false and empty. Thành cái ngũ uẩn này kinh này giảng cho chúng ta biết là ngũ uẩn thiệt ra nó chỉ là không, nó không có là thật. Okay. So everything is illusory, and that's why the word emptiness means. Thành cái chữ không ý nghĩa cho đó. It's empty because when you feel something is empty, khi quý vị thấy được hiểu là cái không, then you are no longer attached to it. Khi quý vị thấy được cái chữ không này đó, là quý vị không còn chấp trước nữa. And there are tremendous advantages. Nó có rất nhiều cái lợi. For example, ví dụ, you're so attached to the disease. Quý vị đang rất là quyến luyến cái người quá cố. Am I correct? Okay, that's why you're unhappy. Mà quý vị cảm thấy buồn. Okay, and whether no matter how much you're attached to the disease, quý vị có quyến luyến bao nhiêu nữa, you still cannot hang on to her, can you? Quý vị không thể nào bám víu được bao lâu. Okay, because therefore your attachment only makes you unhappy. Cái quyến luyến quý vị làm quý vị buồn. Okay. Whereas if you're able to free yourself from the attachment, mà quý vị không có bị quyến luyến nữa, then there's some good things, có chuyện tốt. You are freeing her from her attachment to you. Và quý vị làm như vậy thì khiến cái người quá cố nó bớt quyến luyến quý vị. Because what happened is that this is a reality in that you face with. Cái sự thật quý vị là phải thấy cái dữ kiện này. If she has enough blessings to go to the Pure Land, nếu bà cụ đó mà có đủ cái phước báu mà đi tới phương Cực Lạc, and yet she's still attached to you, và bà cụ vẫn chấp trước quý vị. Okay, then she might refuse to go to the Pure Land. There's nothing we can do. Nếu bà cụ mà không chịu đi, mình cũng chịu thôi. Okay. So even if you don't believe, don't understand these 5 skandhas, bây giờ quý vị không hiểu được cái ngũ uẩn này dai không, and the 5 skandhas are empty. The concept here is to stay calm and not be too attached, so that you give her a chance to go to the Pure Land. Cái ý nghĩa cái việc ngày hôm nay tới là nên bình tĩnh để mà bớt quyến luyến, để cho bà cụ có cơ hội để mà đi. Okay, so far so good. Any questions? Yes.
So, Master, how do you let go of someone that you care for so deeply?
How do you let go of someone who care so deeply? Làm sao mình có thể xả cái người mình quyến luyến, mình thương yêu bây giờ? I don't know. How do you let go? You tell me. How do you let go? Anyone, please help us out. How can you let go? Yes, sir.
You have to deliberately put your attention elsewhere until the feeling subsides.
You put your attention somewhere else. Mình nghĩ chuyện khác. Cho tới khi nó vơi. Does that work?
Yes.
Might work. So you distract yourself, right? That's what you're saying. Distract yourself. Ông đề nghị là quý vị đánh lạc tư tưởng mình đi hướng khác. Yes?
Yeah, it would just gradually go away if you don't think about it.
Does it work for you? No? This man here says no. I feel the opposite works better. Thầy nghĩ là cái đi ngược lại nó có lý hơn. To me, it makes more sense, much more effective. You say, yes, I love her dearly. Yes, I miss her so much. Đối với thầy mình chấp nhận, mình công nhận cái sự quyến luyến mình nó có hiệu quả hơn. Agree, disagree? To me, in order to let go, đối với thầy muốn xả đi, muốn bỏ người ta, the first thing I do is recognize how I'm attached to her. Thứ nhất, thầy muốn nhận thấy là mình quyến luyến ở chỗ nào. Even if you deny the fact you're attached to someone, mặc dù quý vị phủ nhận mình quyến luyến. Okay? In your heart, mentally you say yes, yeah, I'm not attached, but in your heart you know you're attached. You cannot fool yourself. You cannot fool your heart. Okay? You can fool your mind, but you cannot fool your heart. Mình quý vị có thể từ thuyết phục mình cái trí, với cái trí mình là mình không quyến luyến, thì cái tim quý vị nó vẫn quyến luyến như thường. Am I correct? If you ever been in love at all, you know what I'm talking about. Right, yo? No? You can think all you want, but your heart knows better. Quý vị có thể suy nghĩ, có thể từ thuyết phục được, nhưng là cái tim quý vị nó thuyết phục không được. You cannot convince your heart. Anyone have that experience before? Have experienced the fact that after your wife divorces you, ai có kinh nghiệm này chưa? Sau khi vợ mình bỏ mình ly dị mình á, okay, you hate her so much. Cái tâm quý vị, cái óc quý vị nghĩ rằng mình thù bà đó, and your heart says I miss her so much. Have you experienced this before? Ai biết cái cảnh nhớ đó chưa? Cái tâm mình nói là mình thù bà, nhưng mà cái tim mình nói là mình nhớ bà quá. Hả? Speaking more experience? Yes? That's called love, my friends. No, gọi là ái tình. You can't deny it. If you really love her, it doesn't work. You can convince yourself all you want, but you know you miss her. You're only fooling yourself. Mình thiệt sự mình thương bà, mình nói gì nói, cái tim mình vẫn thương như thường. So you have conflict. What text your approach has conflict inside, internal conflict. Thành mình tự phủ nhận cái đó, chỉ lừa gạt mình, lừa dối mình. It doesn't work. To me, it doesn't work. I'm always right.
You don't have to do it if you want.
I never give you credit for anything. It takes all these years, 6 years. He comes here, 6, 7 years. He comes here and listen lecture every single Sunday afternoon. I never give him credit for anything. And he keep on coming. So how do you let go? Làm sao bỏ rơi bây giờ? How do you let go? The first thing you do, you recognize that yes, your true feeling. You have to acknowledge your true feelings. Thứ nhất là quý vị phải công nhận cái tình cảm của mình. You have to see it. If you cannot see it, you don't know what you're letting go. Quý vị mà không chịu chấp nhận nó thì sao quý vị bỏ nó được? Am I making sense to you? If you decide, if you only, if you recognize totally, you can let go totally. You recognize partially, you can let go partially. That's all you can do. That's reality. Sự thật là vậy. Quý vị chỉ xả cái gì quý vị thấy được thôi. Okay? So, to me, it's okay to first to admit to each other, I miss her. To say, I miss her. Quý vị nên nói là tôi quyến luyến bạn. That's the first thing you do. And that's why you're here. You may not say, but the fact you show up here today, this family shows up here today, these families show up here today, the 3 families, the people in the 3 families show up today. Những 3 gia đình của cái người này đó, họ đều tới. That speaks so loudly to me that they love her dearly. That's enough. You don't have to say anything. It's right there. Whether you admit it or not, it's right there. It's how you feel inside. Otherwise, why would we sit through so far an hours of lecture that you don't understand anything? And it's a total waste of time. You ask any normal person. Nếu không, tại sao quý vị thầy ngồi 1 tiếng đồng hồ mà nghe một cái chuyện nhảm không à? Right? So the first thing you do, you recognize, you admit that yes, you need to look at your true feelings. So đối với thầy, muốn bỏ ta đầu tiên hết là quý vị phải nhìn được cái lòng của mình. You have to look at your own self, your own feeling, your true feelings. And say, okay, I miss her. Mình nói là mình biết rồi. Okay? Nothing wrong with that. But then what? And then what? Làm gì nữa? How can you let go? Làm sao mà bỏ bây giờ? How can you let go? Vicky, you ask, come on, get to work.
Well,
how can you let go? Now you recognize, you admit to yourself, yes, I miss her.
Well, go, as you mentioned earlier, is if you can let go, then she can let go, and the goal is to get into the pyramid, right? So you have to be willing to let go so that way she can go to the pyramid for her benefit, to help her.
Ah, very good. You guys don't quite express it. Let me paraphrase it for you. Okay? For us to tell you to let go, it cannot be done. I didn't tell you to let go, did I? Cái sự thật á, là nếu mà thầy nói cái gì là phải bỏ cái bà thì cái vị làm không được. Tại sự thật đó, I've been counseling this family, some of these people for a few times. Did you hear me telling you to let go? Thầy hỏi, thầy khuyên mấy cái khuyên lên mấy cái gia đình người này, một số người đó vài lần rồi. Thầy hỏi họ có nhớ thầy nói cái gì họ là khuyên họ xả bỏ bà không? Did I tell you to let go? Did I? Ask her. Ask that woman who comes every day. Did I tell her to let go? Did I? I never told any of you to let go of her because I know it cannot be done. That's why I don't ask you. Okay? Thầy không hỏi cái vị xả cho bà được bỏ bà tại vì thầy biết cái vị làm không được. I know you cannot do it. So why do I bother asking you? If I ask you, you can't do it anyway. So that's why I won't ask. Thì quý vị, thầy biết cái vị làm không được. Vì vậy quý vị, thầy mới không có hỏi cái vị. Okay? What did I ask you? Hỏi cái vị gì? What is your wish? Quý vị muốn cái gì? I asked you about what you want. And you replied to me that you want her to go to the Pure Land. Là quý vị là trả lời là quý vị muốn thì giúp bà cụ đi theo phương cực lạc. Đấy. You don't have to let go, and yet you can help her get to the Pure Land. Thành ra giúp cái bà cụ đi theo phương cực lạc đâu cần phải xả đâu. In order for you to help her go to the Western Bliss Pure Land where she'll be happy, okay? You need to know what to do. Quý vị phải biết làm cái gì. All you need to do is learn how to do it. Do the right things so that she goes. You don't need to let go. Quý vị đâu cần phải xả bỏ đâu. Because you can't. You only need to do the proper things for 49 days during this period so that she can go. That's all it takes. Trong thời gian này quý vị chỉ cần làm cái chuyện đúng nên làm thì bà cụ qua đi được. Đâu có cần xả đâu. All you need to do is not to keep her back. That's what you need to do. You don't have to let go. Okay? Quý vị chỉ cần đừng có cản bà đi thôi là được rồi. Let me do my job. Để cho chúng tôi làm việc chúng tôi. Our job is to help her get there. But you can stop her. That's all. Việc chúng tôi làm đó là tạo cái phương tiện để cho bà cụ đi. Nhưng để quý vị là cái người có thể cản bà lại. So you do not stop her, you encourage her to go. That's your job. Thành mình phải có sự hợp tác với nhau. Thầy làm việc của thầy, quý vị phải giúp bằng cách là không cản trở và thuyết phục, khuyến khích bà cụ đi. That's all you have to do. Then we all win. We all benefit from it. Make sense? So the answer to your question is that you don't need to let go. To me, if you admit to yourself how much you miss her, how much you love her, it's much more convincing when you tell her to go. Đối với thầy đó, mình thừa nhận mình thương bà cụ đó, nó có hiệu quả hơn là phủ nhận đó. Any questions or comments? Ai có thắc mắc gì không? Does it help, Vicky? So this is why the Pure Land Dharma door is not clearly explained to you. Bởi vì cái pháp vãng sanh này không có được giảng cho quý vị rõ ràng. Okay, I repeat for everyone's sake. That is, number one, you need to present her, give her the option to go to the Pure Land. Thứ nhất là chúng ta phải tạo cái duyên, có cái cơ hội cho bà đi. Meaning we need to generate blessings. Có nghĩa là phải tạo phước. So that we pay off her creditors, để mà trả cái nợ, chủ nợ cho bà. Because if you still owe your creditors, they will not let go. Nếu mà nợ họ không thả quý vị đi đâu. So we have to pay them off. And then you have to generate enough blessing for her to be able to get there. Thứ nhì là phải tạo cái phước để cho bà cụ bà đi được đủ cái phước để mà bà bay qua bên kia. Nói nôm na đi, okay? Think of it as boarding a rocket, an airplane, and going over there very, very far away. That takes a lot of blessings. chỗ cần xa chừng nào cần nhiều phước chừng đấy. So far so good. So those are the first things. Okay. And the second part is that you have to encourage her to go. Thứ nhì là quý vị khuyến khích bà đi. That's all it takes. Okay. Any questions? Okay. It's very tough for many of you, but it's okay. We can't make everyone happy. Thầy biết cái này nó trình độ nó hơi cao một tí. This is one of the advanced Buddhist concepts. Cái này những cái lời giáo huấn của Đức Phật nó hơi khó hiểu một tí. Okay. I'm not offended if it's too much for you and you choose to do something else. Nếu quý vị thấy mà khó chịu quá đấy, thì không sao, thầy không có phiền lòng đâu. I'm gonna continue this lecture at the proper level that people came here for. Thầy tiếp tục giảng cái kinh này, okay, như thường lệ. If you have any questions about rebirth or whatever, okay, our style is that you can ask any questions. You can ask, you don't believe, you say this is nonsense, it's perfectly okay with us. Quý vị nghĩ không đồng ý, có chỗ nào không hiểu, có quyền hỏi, okay? It's perfectly okay, okay? We are here to share knowledge. I'm not trying to brainwash you or anything. Quý vị, mục tiêu của thầy không phải là để nhồi sọ quý vị, bắt quý vị phải tin. Okay? We all are free to pursue and believe whatever we feel is right for us. Có cái tự do tín ngưỡng mà, ai muốn làm gì cũng được hết. Okay? But if you have any questions, feel free to ask right now. You questions about rebirth. You're not the only one, by the way. If you ask questions, just like Vicky asked a question there, you know, she's been here for a long time. I talk about rebirth for a long time already. This rebirth Dharma for a long time already. And yet the question is appropriate, very appropriate. And my answer should tell you that even though you've been listening to me for last 6 or several years, you still don't know everything yet about rebirth, do you? Okay. Quý vị biết cái câu trả lời của thầy chứng minh cho quý vị thấy đó, mấy người nào mặc dù ở với thầy học là 6-7 năm trời không có nghĩa là hiểu tất cả đâu. So please feel free to ask. Okay. Any questions? Doesn't matter. Okay. If you don't ask questions, now assume you don't care. You ask questions, I try to answer, and I tell you this. My students, the people, the regulars here, are experienced enough and are generous enough to be able to listen to your questions and help you understand as well. Help me explain things to you as well. Okay? So feel free. Thành quý vị cứ thắc mắc có quyền hỏi. Yes.
My question is, when a spirit goes to a pure land, do they go there to like a temporary area where they go before they go on rebirth? Or it's not like an area where they go permanently and the spirit will not be reborn again?
Okay, very good. See, no one ever asked that question before. Okay. Có người hỏi là khi mà chết á, cái linh hồn nó qua bên kia ra sao? There's no stupid questions, only stupid answers. Let me assure you. Okay? Here's what happens. Okay. Too bad that my people are not experienced. Does anyone know how to answer the question? The soul, the spirit, it goes there. And then how does it come out over there, right? See,
Is it a temporary place or is it a permanent place?
Yeah. But it's just like the question is that when in our world, when we come out to our world, how do we come out? You know, similar to that kind of. Yes, sir.
You want me to try to answer?
Yes.
The soul goes to appears in the Pure Land in a lotus flower. As the lotus blooms, the person comes out fully formed. It's my understanding. And there are many different. Well, I'll just answer that question. And then the permanent location, they stay there. You can stay there until the person actually becomes a Buddha. You can stay there for millions and millions of years until you become a Buddha. Unless Amitabha Buddha said it's elsewhere, suggested you go elsewhere, like coming back here temporarily to do a specific job. And then you can return to the Pure Land again. But you can't stay there forever, or at least until you become a Buddha.
Okay, very good. Let me explain it to you. It's correct. Okay, let me give them more background, put them in perspective. Okay, let me rephrase your question a little bit, paraphrase your question a little bit. You want to know how she's going to get there and what's going to happen to her, right? Basically, how she gets there, what form and where and so on, right? It's a birth process you are talking about, okay?
So my question is that Pure Land is a place of all the spirit's destination,
Yes.
or it's just a transition place where the spirit go there and wait for rebirth?
The Pure Land is a galaxy.
Okay.
It's a different galaxy far away from us. 10 billion galaxies away to the west. It's very far from us. See, the where we are is the Milky Way is a galaxy. So there's many more galaxies in the universe. And the Pure Land is one such galaxy, 10 billion galaxies away. So it's a physical place, first of all. Okay. Thứ nhất á, cái tịnh độ là một cái hành tinh nó cách đây 10 tỷ cái hành tinh. So far so good. So it's a physical galaxy where you go. You take the Voyager thing and you keep on going to the west. Eventually you will hit it before, in time. Okay, for a long time. Okay, and cái tinh độ, quả tinh độ là một cái hành tinh. Okay, there are many different times of galaxies out there. Okay. So the Pure Land is one such galaxy, one special kind of galaxy. Okay, thành cái tinh độ này kêu cái hành tinh. Okay, now in our galaxy, quả hành tinh này đó, how do we arrive here? Làm sao chúng ta tới đây? Typically for us, okay, you don't realize it. You don't realize, quý vị không biết. The primary form of birth for us to arrive at this galaxy is through the birth process, right? Chúng ta tới quả hành tinh này bởi sinh đẻ ra, right? You stay in our mother's womb for 9-10 months. I forgot how many months. Huh? Right? 9-10 months. 9?
Yeah, 10 lunar months.
10 lunar months? Is there a difference between 10 lunar months and 9 months? Yeah, I mean, like when you read you're right. That's why I'm confused about 10 and 9 sometimes. It depends on which perspective, which metric. Anyway, you stay in the womb for 9 months. Ở cõi này á, thường sinh ra là quý vị ở trong cái bụng của bà mẹ 9 tháng. And then you're born. And then you come out, rồi mình đi ra. Okay? That's called regular birth. Cái đó gọi là sinh đẻ. So far so good. There's another form of birth, có một cái loại sinh đẻ khác. In our galaxy, when you're born to the heavens, there's such a thing called the heavens. Okay? Khi vì sinh lên quả tiên. How are you born to the heaven? Nó sinh lên cõi tiên. There's no womb process. There's no birth by womb. Không có sinh bằng cái bào thai. But you're born by called transformation. Sinh làm hóa sinh. No. Transformation. What happened is this, for example, the Christians, when they're born to the Christian heaven, những cái người mà tôn theo cái Công giáo đó, là sinh vào cái quả trời Công giáo. Okay? When they're born there, there's such a thing as Christian heaven. Cái quả đó gọi quả trời Công giáo. They're born there, they come in the form of a baby. Immediately, there's no womb. Boom! They come there, they're born into the world, the heaven, as a baby. 6-year-old baby. Đứa bé 6 tuổi. Okay? Immediately, you don't have to wait in a womb for 9 months. Không cần phải đợi 9 tháng. But you're born as a 6-year-old baby. Okay? And then, you're born in the laps of an adult. At the very moment you're born, you appear in the laps of an adult in the form of a 6-year-old baby. So far, so good? Now yours is intrigued. Wow, I say, wow, so fast. Okay? And at that time, you're fed something called sweet dew. Lúc đó, cái ông đó mới cho quý vị cái nước cam lồ. The one drink the sweet dew, you instantaneously become a god or a goddess, a grown-up god or goddess. Lúc đó quý vị bỗng nhiên trưởng thành làm một cái người tiên, hoặc là người tiên nữ hoặc là tiên nhân. And that's it. That's a birth process. That's why in the heavens it's called birth by transformation. Cái đó là gọi là hóa sanh. It's not there, and all of a sudden you manifest as a boy or a girl. So far, so good? So now I describe to you 2 forms of birth processes in our galaxy. By womb or by transformation. Cái cõi này thầy mới mô tả quý vị biết có 2 cách sinh ra, hoặc là sinh ra bằng thai, hoặc là hóa sinh. Any questions about that? It's not me. It's what the Buddha teaches. Cái này là không phải thầy chế ra mà Đức Phật dạy như vậy. Okay? So far, so good. It's called birth by transformation. Okay? Now, when you go to the Pure Land, lúc quý vị đi qua, sinh qua cái cõi Tây Phương Cực Lạc, what happens? When you're born to Western Bliss Pure Land, the soul goes there and born there by transformation. Quý vị sanh qua Tây Phương Cực Lạc là sanh bằng phương pháp là hóa sanh. Okay? How does the process? How is that transformation, birth by transformation process? Cái phương pháp hóa sanh nó là sao? The moment you're born to Western Bliss Pure Land, lúc quý vị sinh ra vào Tây Phương Cực Lạc. You ready? You go there by a lotus flower. Quý vị tới đó bằng ở trong cái phi thuyền, in a spaceship called a lotus flower. Okay? And when you arrive there, okay, quý vị tới đó, okay, the lotus flower opens up. Cái hoa nó nở ra. That's how you're born. That's all. And you have a full body. Cơ thể quý vị, you don't need to eat sweet dew or anything. You have a full body already. Okay? But that body is neither male nor female. There's no more sexes over there. You're only one sex. There's no male, there's no female. It's just one sex. You come there fully formed as soon as the lotus flower opens up. That's all. And you're born. And lúc đó cái hoa sen nó nở ra là cái thân thể quý vị nó đầy đủ hết rồi. Cái đó là cái cách hóa sanh về Tây phương Cực Lạc. Yes, Vicky.
Are you born as an adult?
Yeah, fully formed. Không có nam, không có nữ. So far, so good. Now, where you born, there's a difference. Và cái chỗ quý vị sinh ra nó khác. Depends on your grade, rebirth grade. Cái chỗ quý vị sinh ra đó, nó tùy cái phẩm vị của quý vị. What's the analogy? Tương tự như sau. Just like when you come to our world here, giống như quý vị sinh vào cõi này, you born to rich family, you sinh vào cái nhà giàu. Then you live in a nice house, quý vị sinh vào cái nhà giàu sang, tiện nghi. If you live born into a poor family, tough luck. Quý vị sinh vào cái nhà nghèo thì ở nhà trệt. Same thing in Western Bliss Pure Land. If your grade is higher, then you live in a nicer place. Cái phẩm vị bên Tây phương Cực Lạc mà cao hơn thì quý vị sinh vào cái nhà, cái chỗ ở nó sung sướng, nó sang trọng hơn. And see, that's why the blessings really matter. Bởi vì cái phước báo nó quan trọng lắm, không phải chuyện chơi đâu. So far, so good. Okay, any other questions? Anh thắc mắc gì khác không? And let me finish then. Once you get there, khi vì tới đó làm gì? Why do you want to go there? Tới đó làm gì? You go there in one lifetime, you become a Buddha. Quý vị sống một kiếp là quý vị thành Phật. So from the moment you born there, từ lúc đầu quý vị sinh vào đó, you very happy. Quý vị rất là an lạc. And that happiness grows and grows bigger over time. Cái an lạc nó càng ngày nó càng lớn. Because the more merit and virtue, the more blessing you generate for yourself, the more peace and bliss you experience. And that's all you do. It will never decrease. Khi quý vị tới đó rồi đó, wherever you born into, the bliss, the peace and bliss will increase over time. It will never decrease. So your livelihood will continue to improve. Có nói cách khác là cái cuộc sống quý vị nó càng ngày nó càng tiến bộ, không bao giờ nó thoái bộ hết. Will never regress ever until you become a Buddha. That's it. That's where you reach perfection, the ultimate. Là lúc đó quý vị sẽ tiếp tục tiến bộ và không bao giờ thoái bộ cho tới khi quý vị thành Phật. It's really the ideal world. Nó rất là lý tưởng. Okay? You don't have to go anywhere else. Quý vị không cần phải đi đâu. And yet you can become a Buddha. Quý vị có thể thành Phật được. Okay? Any questions? So imagine a world, in our world we seek utopia. Như cái cõi thế gian này mình tìm cái cõi là cõi thiên đàng. Okay? The utopia is an illusion. The utopia that people in this world look for is an illusion. They will never be able to find it because it does not exist. Cái cõi thiên đàng mà cái người thế gian này tìm đó, trước giờ trong lịch sử là ai đang kiếm cõi thiên đàng đó. In the history of mankind, people have searched for utopia and never could find it because it does not exist. Cái cõi mà thiên đàng cực lạc mà cái người phàm phu đã kiếm đã trong lịch sử là người đó không bao giờ kiếm được, tại vì thật sự nó không có. Whereas you may not believe me, but you should believe the Buddha, my Buddha. Nhiều khi quý vị thấy cái lời nói của thầy nó khó tin, nhưng quý vị nên tin lời Phật. Because when it comes to the Pure Land Dharma here, I repeat the Buddha's words. Khi mà nói về cái pháp vãng sanh này, cái lời thầy nói đó thường đa số là những cái lời của Phật dạy. Okay? The Buddha says, Shakyamuni Buddha, our Buddha, Ngài Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật, he says that you should believe in the Western Bliss Pure Land. Ngài nói rằng quý vị nên tin vào Tây Phương Cực Lạc. Because it is the best place, the safest place for you. Tại vì Tây Phương Cực Lạc cái chỗ mà an toàn nhất và cái chỗ mà tốt đẹp nhất cho quý vị. Okay, let me see. Yeah, all of you. If you can make it to Pure Land, tất cả quý vị có mặt ngày hôm nay. Okay. If you can make it to the Pure Land, nếu quý vị vãng sanh được Tây Phương Cực Lạc, I assure you, it is the biggest accomplishment you can have in your life. Cái đó là cái mà có lý nhất mà quý vị cần làm trong cuộc đời này. It's a biggest success you can ever imagine. Then your life will be worth it. Thì như vậy đó, nếu thực sự quý vị được cái vãng sanh này, tất cả các người có mặt ngày hôm nay đó, okay, là cái sự thành công đại lớn lao của quý vị. Không có gì nó quý hơn nữa. To me, in my mind, as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing else more worthwhile for all of you. Tại vì không có cái nào mà nó có lý hơn cho quý vị. All of you right now, I can look at all of you, each and every one of you in the eyes, and tell you it's the best thing for you right now. This lifetime, all of you. Because the alternative is not even comparable. Và nếu quý vị không được á, quý vị thiệt thòi nhiều lắm. Okay? And by the way, most people don't know that. Quý vị biết không? Đại đa số người ta là không biết cái chuyện này. It takes you caring for your loved one. Then you get to see, to hear this Buddhist fact. Tại vì quý vị quan tâm, lưu luyến cái người quyến thuộc quý vị ngày nay mới nghe cái lời thầy nói như vậy nữa. Because it will otherwise you wouldn't be able to hear from me such words. Okay. Any questions? And finally, cuối cùng, let me remind you, nói cái vị biết. People in the world, ordinary people, cái người thế gian này, they are so worried and preoccupied with this current life. Quý vị, cuộc sống quý vị đó, nó khiến quý vị có những cái ưu tư, có những cái lo lắng cho cái cuộc đời này. You're so preoccupied with this current life that you fail to plan for the next life. Đến độ quý vị lo lắng ưu tư quá, thành quý vị với cuộc sống này, thành quý vị quên lo cho cuộc đời sau. Because all of you, if you don't go to the Pure Land, you will revolve in the wheel. Tại tất cả những quý vị mà nếu không chịu đi qua được Tây Phương Cực Lạc, thì quý vị sẽ lọt trong vòng luân hồi. You come back, you keep on cycling through this pain and suffering and joy and pain and joy and pain, ups and downs of life. That's what your life is like. In the wheel reincarnation. Thành nếu quý vị không thoát được cái vòng luân hồi này, là cuộc đời quý vị nó sẽ luôn luôn lúc lên voi, lúc xuống chó. That's the nature of the human existence. Okay? Why is it like that? Tại sao như vậy? Because you are so preoccupied with the current life. Nên vậy, tại vì quý vị quá lo cái cuộc sống ngày hôm nay nè. We're so worried about right now. And you're so scared of what happens in the future life, next life. Và quý vị không biết về cuộc đời sau hết. That's why you don't know how to plan for the next life. Thành quý vị không chịu lo cho cái cuộc đời sau. You can plan for your children's life and your children's future and your financial independence. Quý vị lo về hưu, lo về cái tương lai con cái mình. And yet, the common mistake you all make is that you only can plan for a 50-year, 100-year horizon. That's all you have. Mà quý vị biết cái mạng sống còn 100 năm mà. Your lifespan is less than 100 years. That's all you can plan for. And you forgot. Cuộc sống còn 100 năm mà quý vị quên. Là you've been revolving in the wheel reincarnation all this time. You haven't figured out a way to get out yet. Quý vị đã từng luân hồi trong cái vòng luân hồi này quá lâu rồi mà vẫn chưa tìm cách mà thoát ra được. Just like her, giống như bà cụ vậy đó. She's been revolving in the wheel reincarnation for all this time. Bà cụ cũng như quý vị, đó cái điển hình quý vị thấy. Bà đang lưu lạc trong cái vòng luân hồi đã quá lâu rồi mà chưa ra thoát nổi. Okay? Right there in front of your eyes. And yet, no one tells you you're making the same mistakes as she made. Mà không ai nói quý vị đang làm một cái lỗi lầm giống như bà cụ đang làm. She never planned for her next life. Bà không có lo cho cuộc sống sau. Am I correct? Are you Chinese lady? Am I correct? When she was alive, she never worried about next life, right? Yeah, she said, okay. You are all the same, making the same mistake. Tất cả quý vị đều có cái lỗi lầm như vậy. Especially young ones back there. You say, oh, I'm young. I don't worry about that. Oh, yeah. And then someday you wake up like her. See? Look. It's not that much difference, in 20 years. I'm kidding. Don't you wish? Only 20 years, huh? You see my point? I don't understand you. Why are you so preoccupied with this current life? You only have 40 years left, 50 years left, that's it. And then what? Western Bliss Pure Land is billions or quadrillions of years before you become a Buddha. And you let all the preoccupation of this next 60 years overwhelm you, bind you down so that you keep on revolving over and over and over again. Thì thế dễ sợ. Mình chỉ lo ưu tư có 60 năm còn lại của cuộc đời mình thôi đó, để mình còn kẹt trong vòng luân hồi. Doesn't make sense to me. Why is that? Because you don't know any better. Không ai nói cái sự thật hết đó. This is why Shakyamuni Buddha come to our world. Bởi vì Đức Phật mới tới cõi này to remind you that, hey, better plan for your death. Nói cái gì là phải lo cái chuyện sanh tử. I've been talking to that woman back there. Nói cái cô Cảnh đó. That's her name, Cảnh right there. Okay. I mean, plan for your rebirth. Nói cô là con phải lo cái vãng sanh của con đi. Yes, Master. The last 3 years. 3 năm rồi thầy nói cô lo cái vãng sanh của con. Dạ thầy, dạ đúng rồi, con tin thầy, con lời tin thầy. I believe you, Master. I believe you, Master. And all she can do if she dies today, nếu như cái cô này bằng ngày hôm nay cô chết á, excuse me, không phải trù ẻm nghe chưa? No, I'm not throwing a curse on you. Where do you think you're gonna go? Con nghĩ con đi đâu? I'm asking you right now. Serious. Thầy nói cái gì nghe chuyện tức cười. I mean, this is so sad. My life is so sad. You think you're crying? I should be crying all the time. Cái vị nghĩ cái vị buồn, thầy mới là buồn hơn cái vị. I should be crying every single day, every single minute. Đáng lý phải khóc mỗi ngày, mỗi giây, mỗi chốc lát. Why is it? Because I see that people are suffering so much and there's no way for me to tell you otherwise. Thầy thấy cái việc khổ quá, thầy nói không được. My kind, my own kind. Ví dụ, I can know of a abbess of one of the big temple in San Jose. Thầy nghĩ tới cái sư bà mà cái chùa mà rất lớn ở San Jose đó. You know where she's going to go if she dies today? Nếu sư bà mà chết, quý vị nghĩ bà đi đâu? My own kind. After 50 years, after 60 years of becoming a nun, đã xuất gia được 50-60 năm rồi. Okay? Have a big temple, have a lot of disciples and followers. Có nhiều đệ tử, có nhiều Phật tử theo. Guess where she's going to go after she dies? Lots of money. Nhiều tiền lắm. Very successful in our world, in my profession, very successful woman. This is powerful woman. Đây là trong cái thế giới của thầy đó là một người thành công, một cái người có thế lực trong cái làng mình đó. Guess where she's going? The hells. Chết là sẽ đọa địa ngục. Nó không biết luôn nè. Yet she has no clues. Cứ tiếp tục làm như vậy, từ ngày mỗi ngày càng sống thêm, từ càng đọa. So every single day she gets up, she goes about the business we do. She sinks deeper. People in my profession, trong nghề của thầy đó, this is what we do. Why? Because she's more preoccupied with this current life than the next life. Sounds familiar? Tại sao như vậy? Tại sao thầy dám nói là cái bà này là lúc chết bà sẽ đọa địa ngục? Tại vì á, cũng như những người khác, bà chỉ lo đam mê vào cuộc sống bây giờ mà không lo cho tương lai. Chỉ quan trọng cuộc sống nữa thôi. She puts this current life first. She says, yeah, I want to go rebirth. What does she do about it? Zilch. If you want to retire, don't you need to put away some money for your retirement? Ở đây quý vị muốn nghỉ về hưu, quý vị phải để dành tiền chứ right? If you want to go to Western Westphalian, where are your rebirth savings? Mà quý vị muốn về Tây Phương Cực Lạc thì quý vị đang tích trữ cái tiền về hưu về Tây Phương Cực Lạc ở đâu đây? Are you saving for it? You see the problem? Thành cái câu nhỏ đó. That's why that lady back there. I said, prepare rebirth. Yes, I believe you. Cô nói là tin lời thầy thôi. Cái miệng nói chưa đủ đâu. You talk is not enough. You have to do something. You have to put aside, take the money, put aside. Okay, don't touch it. That's how you plan for retirement. Isn't that right? Questions? Ai thắc mắc gì không? Okay, and guess what? Don't feel bad. You're no different from you are non-Buddhist, you non-professional, not different from us professionals. Thực thật là quý vị đừng có buồn quá, tại vì quý vị chẳng khác những người chuyên viên như bên phía thầy. We still don't know how to put away enough, so that we also revolve in the wheels like you. That's why we keep on coming back, looking at each other every single lifetime. Với mới gặp nhau hoài vậy đó. Không có chịu sửa soạn mà đi. Okay? Questions or comments? Anything else? We Asians have a wonderful tradition. Thầy muốn nhắc lại, muốn nhấn mạnh cái vị chuyện này. Người Á Đông đó, cái truyền thống rất là tốt. The Asian has a beautiful tradition. Người Á Đông mình có cái kho tàng văn hóa rất là tốt. We have the Buddhist influence. Cái đó là cái ảnh hưởng của cái Phật giáo. That's why even though you know very little about Buddhism and by tradition, your Asian heritage is that when someone passes away, you take care of them with the Buddhist tradition. Cái văn hóa mà giúp quý vị khi mà người qua đời đó có khiến quý vị theo cái phong tục mà làm như vậy, it's a very good tradition. Chuyện rất là tốt. It's very helpful. Rất có hữu hiệu. But very few, excuse me, very few of you, a few of us are able to take advantage of the ultimate Buddhist approach. Này, ít người mà có đủ cái phước báo để mà lo như ấy. Most of them are not enough to attain rebirth. Thì những cái phương pháp mà họ nghĩ vãng sanh bây giờ nó vẫn chưa đủ. That's why the overwhelming majority will not attain rebirth this lifetime. Okay, thành đại đa số những người đó sẽ không đắc được vãng sanh kiếp này đâu. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Ai thắc mắc gì khác? I have 15 more minutes. You might as well ask questions because when I jump back into here, we will not like what you're going to hear. You have no clue what I'm talking about. Yes, you.
So we often talk about being present in the present moment.
Yes.
So why do we have to worry so much about the next life?
Ngoài cái Phật giáo mình khuyên là sống trong cái thực tại, tại sao mình phải lo kiếp sau làm cái gì?
And then what you're talking about being prepared for the next life, like going to Pure Land, is a different context. Like being present.
Okay. Good question. Câu hỏi giỏi. Hỏi bây giờ Phật giáo mình khuyên sống thực tại, tại sao mình nói chuyện vãng sanh làm cái gì? Okay. Let me ask you. I only have 15 minutes. I can beat around the bush for another half hour on this issue. But since I don't have a lot of time left, I'm going to ask you straight. Okay? Thầy hết thì giờ rồi. Thầy hỏi thẳng lúc này. He says Buddhism should be live in the moment. We should live in the moment. Phật giáo mình dạy là sống trong cái thực tại. Right? Now I ask you, why you want to live in the moment? Thầy hỏi ngược lại quý vị, tại sao quý vị sống thực tại làm cái gì? Tell me please. All of you, I ask all of you now. Xin hỏi là quý vị sống thực tại làm cái gì? Why you insist on living in the moment? I ask you, all of you. Why? What? For living? Sống. Okay? So live. And then what? For another 37 years? Sống 37 năm, and then what? And then you worry about next life. Rồi khi mình sống, lúc mình già, mình lo kiếp sau. Makes sense to me. Right? Có lý. What if you get hit by a truck tomorrow? Nếu ngày mai bị xe cán chết thì sao? Serious. Could happen. Có thể xảy ra. Mai xe nó cán mà chết thì sao? How does living the moment help you? Sống với thực tại nó giúp gì ở chỗ nào? Never mind about 37 years. You live in the moment. Okay? Someone walked in here and says, and detonate a bomb. You die. How does it help you, sir? Đang sống trong hiện tại bây giờ, có người vào tự tử chết, làm nổ bom, quý vị chết ngay lập tức, tất cả mọi người chết, thì sống thực tại nó giúp quý vị được cái gì? you. How does it help you? You're still putting all your eggs in this life, this moment. That's what's wrong with that model. Nói cách khác là quý vị mà nếu chỉ sống trong thực tại là quý vị, cái cách ông này nói đó là quý vị sống tất cả, để tất cả vào cái thực tại này. See? That's myopia. Cái đó là thiển cận. I'm sorry. The people who says live in the moment are myopic. Là người mà nói chủ trương là sống trong thực tại là những người bị thiển cận. They cannot see far enough. Họ không đủ cái nhãn quan để nhìn rộng, nhìn xa. That's the problem with all the people who advocate living in the moment. That's why we don't teach living in the moment. Cái này thầy xin hơi xúc phạm mọi người nghe một tí. I'm offending quite a few people. Okay? Lý do mà thầy chúng ta không dạy cái vị sống trong thực tại là tại vì cái sống trong thực tại mà chủ nghĩa này á, là cái chủ nghĩa của sự thiển cận. Họ thiếu cái nhãn quan nó quá eo hẹp đi, nó quá ngắn đi, không thấy được cái tương lai. Vì vậy mới chỉ khuyên quý vị là sống trong thực tại thôi. Moreover, hơn nữa, what's so great about the moment? Đấy, thêm quý vị, xin hỏi quý vị, cái thực tại nó có gì hay ho cho đó? Please tell me. Yes. My husband? No, your husband is not great. Chồng con chắc chắn không có gì mà hay ho đâu. Yes. Okay, she says, live in the moment to enjoy what you have. Để mà hưởng thụ. Right? Agree, disagree? Enjoying is exhausting your blessings. Hưởng thụ là làm vơi cái phước báo của mình. Yes, sir.
Well, this is an idea that people have, but and part of that idea is that there's not going to be any more moments. You know, at the end of this life, you're totally extinguished. Right, so you might as well enjoy it now. Right? It's an atheistic point of view.
Can I offend you a little bit?
Yes.
Thầy xin nói hơi xúc phạm quý vị một tí. What was your point again, sir? I forgot. I got distracted here. What is your point? Repeat your point.
Point is taken like that, you're assuming that there's no future life. So you might as well just enjoy it because it's all going to be life.
Yeah. There's a difference between worldly knowledge and transcendental knowledge. Có cái sự khác biệt giữa cái tri kiến thế gian và cái tri kiến xuất thế gian. Okay. We spend our life, chúng ta bỏ cuộc đời chúng ta pursuing worldly things, để đeo đuổi những những chuyện thế gian. We get an education, đi học này. You get a job, đi làm này. We fall in love này. Mình thương yêu này. We raise a family, lo gia đình này. You plan for retirement, lo cái về hưu của mình. All of that, you look at the entire style lifespan, quý vị nhìn lại cuộc đời quý vị. Okay, I'm glad the young people are still around because I want you boys, you young people to listen to me. Look at yourself and look at her. Someday you become just like her, someday you become just like that gentleman right here. No difference. You do the same thing. You get an education, okay? You get a job, you fall in love, you raise a family, you have children, and then you retire. Then you become sick and old. The people have walked this path before you already. Cái vị nghĩ lại chứ coi, mình sẽ đi học này, xong kiếm việc làm này, xong rồi yêu thương người ta này, xong lập gia đình này, đẻ con ra này, xong rồi lúc già về hưu này. Tất cả mọi người sẽ qua những giai đoạn vậy. Anyone? Am I missing anything? Am I excluding anyone? Me too. Someday I retire too. I'm on the last step. Thầy cũng hướng khác chứ quý vị là cuối cùng thầy cũng chỉ còn về hưu thôi. I have nothing else. Okay? Unlike you, I live my full life. I get an education. I got an education. I fell in love. I got married. Okay? And then I didn't plan for retirement. That's why I had to become a monk. So far, so good. So what's different? And then look at her. Nhìn tới bà cụ. Then you die. And then what? You start over again. Lifetime after lifetime. Chết xong bắt đầu lại. You change your body. And you start over again. You grow up. You get an education. You get a job. You fall in love with a different woman, hopefully. You know? And then you retire, then you die. And you start over again. Over and over again. It's called reincarnation. Cái đó là thế gian pháp. It's called worldly dharma. Along the way, someone tells you, a monk tells you, oh, you should go for rebirth. Yes, master. Yes, I believe you, master. Sounds familiar? That's it. It's called worldly dharma. Cái đó gọi là cái thế gian pháp. The worldly dharma says, live in the moment. It's people like me who tell you live in the moment. Living in the moment comes from mouth of people like me. Monks and nuns who says, live in the moment. Okay? That dharma is not meant to be lived like that, to be used like that. It's abused. It's misinterpreted. It's not the way you folks understand it. Thành cái pháp mà sống trong thực tại là cái pháp mà từ những người xuất gia như thầy đó dạy quý vị, tại vì họ không hiểu. These people who taught you that way, the left form people who taught you that way, do not understand that dharma. Những người dạy quý vị như vậy không hiểu cái pháp này. But it sounds good. But it's no liberation. They're binding you to your vicious cycles of reincarnation. Cái pháp mà quý vị, người ta giảng quý vị đây là khiến quý vị cứ luân lạc cái vòng luân hồi hoài, thoát không ra không được. The dharma of living the moment, cái pháp mà sống trong thực tại, is meant to liberate you, not to bind you like that. Cái pháp mà sống trong thực tại đâu phải cái pháp để khiến quý vị bị kẹt đâu. But the way it's explained and practiced right now is but a worldly dharma. It doesn't provide you liberation. That's why I don't teach it anymore. We teach, forget about the moment. Enough of that. Worry about the future. Have balance. Thành cái pháp quý vị, cái thực tế quý vị là quý vị nhìn có sự thăng bằng. vừa hiện tại vừa tương lai. You need to have a balance between the future and the present. That's called the middle way. Cái đó gọi là pháp trung dung, là trung đạo. Ask yourself. Thầy xin hỏi quý vị, tự hỏi nghe nào. Of all your time, all your resources, thầy tự xét lại. Ask yourself, all your resources. Throughout, look at all your lifetime. Look at her, all her lifetime. Nhất cái bà cụ này. Look at him. Okay? Look at me. Okay? Look at her. Look at her. Look at her. How much of your resources are spent on this current life versus the future life? Ask yourself. Is there a balance? Okay. If you insist on living in the moment, there's imbalance right away. Và nếu quý vị nhất định sống trong thực tại là quý vị bị cái sự mất thăng bằng ngay lập tức. Agree? You're preoccupied with the future, with the present. Wrong approach. That's my final answer to you, sir. You'll be stuck. You continue to suffer. Quý vị sẽ bị kẹt và quý vị tiếp tục mà khổ. And when you die, lúc quý vị chết, the best you can hope, sir, is that maybe someone who loves you, who cares for you, cares enough to come and cry, oh, yo, I love you so much. I miss you so much. And the last thing I do for you is I try to send you to the Pure Land. You go to the temple and they say, okay, send him to the Pure Land. Leave me alone. Let me live my moment. You get what you deserve. Okay? Question? Ai thắc mắc gì không? Pakistan, Nepal, Nepal. Ấn Độ. Earthquake recently in Nepal that kills around 800 people. Okay. Live in the moment. Earthquakes, boom, you die. And then what? Okay. Have more balance. It's wrong. Approach is wrong. I would not. Try to restore more balance in your life, because that's my message to you today. Is that she mentioned about the earthquake. Life is, you never know what's going to happen, and you need to be better prepared for the future lives. Okay. You know, how old are you? 44. You know that the first of the year, cái việc ông này 44 tuổi, thì khuyên ông nên có sự thăng bằng hơn một tí. You know, first of the year, there's a young man who just bought a house đầu năm này, đầu ngày 1 tháng 2015 đó. Người cậu trẻ đó, 31 years old, 31 tuổi, just bought the house. So she see the key to the house, mới mua xong cái nhà. In Australia, bên Úc là lợi. He's about to move his mother into the house with him. Rước bà mẹ về nhà ở với mình. Okay? He's single. Độc thân. Okay? So he said before moving, on the first day of the year, he went out to have a drink with his friend, celebrate New Year's Eve, New Year's. Thành tối giao thừa ăn giao thừa đó, thì ra đi uống rượu với bạn. And you know what? He died in the bar. No one knows. We don't know why. Tôi uống rượu với bạn mà chết bất đắc kỳ tử ngay trong cái bar đó. 31 years old. Very filial, very good boy. Died. Okay. So, such is life. Okay, sống là như vậy. All right, it's the end of the lecture. Thank you all for coming. Now stand up and do the reverse transference. Cảm ơn quý vị đã ngồi. So now you get rewarded. Now you actually get to take all this goodness you did today and give it away to them. Okay. Hồi hướng công đức vãng sanh. Seeds for great enlightenment for you. Okay, I hope. Okay, so here we are continuing with from the last where we're picking it up where we left off, the last Chanchi, some sort of Indian master here who came to China to propagate the Dharma, and circumstances have made him stay in the mountains and to cultivate. That's what we have a choice to do. See, if we are cultivators and people who don't support us, Master Sheng would say, if no one supports me, I starve to death. So be it. It's not my fault. When I cultivate, the Dharma protectors are supposed to step up. If they don't, it's their fault. It's not my fault that I die of starvation, that I die from hunger, if I die from poverty, if I die from the cold. It's your fault. You're supposed to protect us. You're supposed to support our cultivation. You don't, it's your fault. Okay? So for a person like Master Hsuan Hua, he says, okay, I die. So be it. But so that's why we have the option. We can simply go to the mountain and practice in the mountain. We don't need to pay rent. You don't need to pay for water, electricity, toilet, sewage, and so forth. Okay, so that's what this Indian monk did. He went to the mountain and practiced, and then he tamed some sort of tiger. Okay, and the wild beasts in the jungle, in the mountain. So he tamed some sort of tiger. Some tiger came and took a cane and tapped the cane on the tiger's head. There's a prior part. I read the prior part a little bit, a few slides before, and spoke Dharma for him. Can you imagine you take a stick and you point it to a tiger and tiger would not attack you? It's cool. Huh? It's impressive. I take a stick and I point it towards Xian Shun. She would run away or either attack me, you know. But the tiger, he would stand there and listen to the bull-headed guy speak something to him. Okay, it's kind of weird. It's kind of a very cool state. So you know this monk is unusual. He's no ordinary monk. If you take a cane and tap it on my head, I get very upset. Okay, so you can imagine how the tiger would feel. And then the tiger, after he listened to Dharma, he went away, never bothered him again. And he spoke Dharma for the tiger. I don't know, maybe tiger language, could be. And after that, they stopped eating people. Are we there yet? We start on slide 5? Oh, okay. Continue.
游过这么几次啊，咱们以后这个人呢，再见到这个山上的老虎啊，他也不咬人了。
After a few times, when this person sees the tiger in this mountain again, it stopped biting people.
在这个山这儿，他住了大约有1-2年。
On this mountain, he, Dharma Master Gunavarman, lived there for another year or 2.
以后啊，这个宋文帝一定啊要请他到南京去。到南京啊，那个地方住，他就去了。
Later, Emperor Wen of the Song dynasty insisted on inviting him to Nanjing. He invited him to live in Nanjing, so he went there.
See, this is a difference of the times. Okay, back then, the emperors, our leaders, had blessings. And that's why they appreciated the Buddha Dharma. They appreciated, they understood the importance of spirituality. Nowadays, you don't have such leaders anymore. Back then, the emperors would sponsor the monks and build temples and so forth. Nowadays, they don't. Nowadays, it's tax breaks. It's all money-driven and votes-driven. Okay? And that makes it much more difficult for people to cultivate. And so the emperor heard of him, and so you understand the mindset of such an emperor. He says, I'm looking for virtuous people. And I heard this virtuous person, let's invite him. Okay? And so that we can benefit from his wisdom, from his insights. So that's why he invited the Indian monk to move to the capital city. Hmm?
去了，这个宋文帝呀，就对他讲：“我现在呀做皇帝，本来我也想吃斋。”
He went there. Emperor Wen of Song said to him, I am now the emperor. Originally, I wanted to be a vegetarian.
但是在我这个环境之下，也没不可能，这个情形呢，很复杂，不许可我吃斋，这怎么办呢？
But in my environment, it's not possible. My situation is very complicated. It doesn't allow me to be a vegetarian. What shall I do?
Okay, now, one thing that you need to be aware of, we talk about how the Chinese emperors used to honor the monks of virtues, wisdom, and that's the tradition they set for their own, not the country alone, but what they did for those great emperors, they taught their own children the importance of seeking out the wise teachers, okay, and seeking out the Dharma, because you look at the Dharma as a treasure, as a real asset to the country. So far, so good. Those are the blessings from the emperor and blessings from the people.
Now it's not the case anymore, so we need to be aware of that. And now, at a smaller scale, we're not talking about the emperor of the nation. I'm talking about the emperor of the household. That lady, that man there. Okay? You listen to this, and you should also look at yourself, that you are in a position of influence. You have the foresight, and you can make a difference to your family. So back then, the people had the blessings. That's why they had a good emperor who would stir them in the right direction. Okay? It's not just the emperor's blessing alone, but also the subject. They have blessings, they have virtues. But now, we don't have it. Because, let's not go into politics, okay, Chan Phong? He's going to get all upset again. But you are the emperor of your family. Keep that in mind. You make a huge difference, can make a huge difference in your own children's life, your family's life. That's it. That's all you can do right now. Don't forget it. Okay? Yeah. Continue. So the emperor here, he said, all of a sudden he says, I want to be vegetarian, but I can't. It's too complicated. It's not as simple as it sounds. What do? There is beluga, caviar, there is champagne, and there is excellent French food. Yeah, but not enough. Okay, continue.
他就对这个宋文帝说是皇帝的修行和老百姓的修行是不同的。老百姓呢，
He told the Emperor Wen of Song, an emperor's cultivation differs from a commoner's cultivation. A commoner
这个宋文帝要受五戒，要吃斋，不吃肉。
The Emperor Wen of Song wanted to receive the 5 precepts, be a vegetarian and not eat meat.
这个就这功德凯法师说，你做皇帝的修行和老百姓的。
So he begged Dharma Master Gongde Kai. Gongde Kai said, your cultivation as the emperor versus that of a commoner.
老百姓呢，他没有什么威德，他不能做什么好事。
A commoner doesn't have much awesome virtue. He can't do many good deeds.
你这个做皇帝的不需要你自己一定吃斋，你只要做令这个一切的老百姓得到好处。
As the emperor, you yourself don't have to be a vegetarian. You just need to do things that benefit all citizens.
你做种种的好事，这就是修行。 这个功德开法师对这个宋文帝说是啊。
You do all kinds of good deeds, that's cultivation. Dharma Master Gondakai told Emperor Wen of Song, that is to say,
譬如你发政思人，请做这个好的政策。
For example, you can decree a policy of benevolence and only do this good policy.
你命令啊，这个老百姓啊，他们少杀生，这就是啊，救了很多的生命。
If you order the citizens to kill less, this action will save many lives.
不是说呀，在你这吃一顿饭啊，不吃一个众生，这就算呢功德。你要能叫老百姓。
It's not saying that you eating a meal without eating a living being counts towards merit and virtue.
不杀生，只要无形中啊，你就是吃的。
If you can teach all commoners not to kill, then imperceptibly you are eating vegetarian.
你叫老百姓的孝顺父母，这也就是你孝顺父母。
If you teach all commoners to be filial towards their parents, it's like you are filial to your parents.
你令老百姓的改恶向善，这也就是你自己修行。
If you order all commoners to change from evil to good, this is your cultivation as well.
所以你不必呀，说我少吃一点肉，或者少喝一点酒，这就是修行。
So you don't have to say, I will eat less meat or drink less alcohol. This is cultivation.
做皇帝，你只要能令老百姓都诸恶不作，众善奉行，这就是你自己修行。
As an emperor, as long as you can order the commoners to refrain from doing all evil and doing all good, then this is your own cultivation.
这宋文帝听功德开法师说完之后，他说
Once Emperor Wen of Song heard Dharma Master Gongda Kai's words, he sighed.
这个一般的沙门呢，他们都迷远；一般的儒者，他们都迷近。
Ordinary Sramanas are all infatuated with conditions. Ordinary Confucians are all infatuated with sutras or scriptures.
Okay, just for clarity, change infatuated are all confused about conditions. It's not infatuated, confused about conditions. And because I want you to listen to this and understand what he's trying to say, and then we'll discuss it later, okay? So if we let you, we allow you to be confused by this, confused by sutras. is not infatuated. They're confused. They don't understand. That's what Gunther Kai was telling the emperor. Continue.
Ah. 迷缘呢，就是讲这个因果循环报应不爽。
Being confused about conditions is to discuss the cycle of cause and effect, i.e., retribution will not fail.
Change it. Okay, very good. Continue.
迷境呢，就执照这个文章或者这个典籍也是书所有的一切就是经书之类。
Being confused about sutras, scriptures, is an attachment to articles and classical literature, i.e., books, all kinds of sutra books and such.
今天我和法师你这一个谈论呢，这真可以了然天人的大道。
From today's discussion with the Master, it really gave me a clearer understanding of the great Tao of heaven and human beings.
Yeah, don't do Tao. Tao is there. Tao, it use a D. Yeah. It's
天人这种关系于是乎就给这位法师造了一个齐桓寺。
The relationship between heaven and human beings. As a result, he built Qi Huan Temple for the Master.
okay. Stop.
这齐桓
Okay. Questions, comments. You have no questions? Seriously? Back there.
Master, so back to the slide.
Which slide?
19 and 20 is that if you were to teach other people not to kill, become vegetarian, or be filial to your parents, you don't have to be filial, then you already become filial and become vegetarian. So does that mean that I teach other people how to cultivate, I don't cultivate, and I'll become enlightened?
Yeah, basically he's saying that if you teach other people to cultivate, you don't have to cultivate. That's what it sounds like to me as a Westerner, educated person. Huh?
I think only if you're an emperor.
Only if an emperor.
Yeah.
But I'm an emperor in my family. I teach my
He's
family.
talking to an emperor.
I'm emperor in my family. I'm sorry, ma'am. You may not think so, but I'm an emperor in my family.
In the Chinese, it says all commoners. 你教老百姓都孝顺父母。
Yeah.
老百姓。
老百姓 is my family.
No, it's not.
No, you don't get it. There is a sphere influence. Emperor is big. I have an influence on my family.
I think the number counts. The number of people counts from this context when I read it in Chinese.
No, it doesn't. Your number is too small. Lão百姓 is too small. It should be 千百姓, 万百姓, 一百姓. Yes, there's a question there in the back. No? Okay, no questions, no comments. 7.
Oh, thank you, Master. The one part where it says about the focusing too much on causes and conditions, causes and effect, isn't that like the Pratyeka Buddha method of reaching like Pratyeka Buddhism? To focus on cause and effect? Why is it not good?
Yeah, it matters. What are you talking about, you sacrilegious person? Cause effect is a universal rule. How dare you question cause and effect? Yes, 4.
Master, I sort of agree with Rinpo Shenxing. When Heng says it is a few people that he's going to affect, when the emperor says it, he's affecting his whole, the whole kingdom, all his people. When Master says it, you're affecting all your disciples. That's a lot of people. But when Heng says it, it's only a few people. So it doesn't have the same meaning.
Go ahead, Heng.
Master, so if Donald Trump tell you to cultivate, meaning that he's become enlightened?
Okay, so the Chinese are disagreeing with the Vietnamese. Yes, what do the non-Asian think? 7.
Thank you, Master. You know, when I hear do the best with what you have. And when they say that the emperor has awesome virtue, that it's the same type of thing you were saying before with the vows to save all living beings, that this is an instance in which you take on the mind of an emperor to make a great decision to help as many people as possible. And every person that you do help is an example of an awesome virtue.
Okay. Makes sense to me. Anyone else has any problems? Yes, number 4.
From Jane, 区名, 百姓 means 100 surnames. 老百姓区名, 老百姓区名 his people.
Okay. Same thing. I stand my ground. He has his people. I have my own family. Okay? Anyone else? Diego, he says, I'm so tired. I have no energy. Can I just rest? Okay. Anyone else? No one is curious? Huh? Okay. Let's shelve it for... Yeah, 6?
Master, I was wondering, does that mean that, let's say we have children and grandchildren and somehow we're able to influence them or help them in their practice, that then we receive blessings?
Yeah, that's what the Gung Te Kai, Indian monk, was saying. You don't have to do it. You have to put more emphasis on teaching others how to do it. Similarly, like I say, I'm too old, I'm too busy, so you do it. You become enlightened. Then I also become enlightened. That's my cultivation. No, you disagree, a Chinese person? A Taiwanese person? 5.
I think that's taking too much liberty out of this context. He didn't say enlightened. He says he'll have great merit and virtues.
You accuse me of taking liberties now? It's getting personal. Wait a minute. I'm just an emperor of my household, my temple. Can I just be an emperor of my temple? It's not taking liberties.
He didn't mention the word enlightened in this context.
It's cultivation. What's the point in cultivating? You're taking things literally. When we say cultivation, the Chinese say, you Chinese people say cultivation. What does it mean? To become enlightened. Yes, ma'am. I will speak for you.
Yes, Master.
You may disagree, but when we say xiu xing, the Chinese say xiu xing, cultivate, it's for purpose, but it's implied. When they say cultivate, is to become enlightened. But the Chinese culture is very subtle. They're not as explicit as us. We are crude. They say, hey, what's cultivation? What for? I say, hey, don't you get it? Oh, you're not Chinese. Oh, by the way. So for the Americans, they say we cultivate to become enlightened. But for the Chinese language, cultivate means enlightened, to become enlightened. That's implied. Yes? So what he said is not unreasonable. Go ahead, Q&A. What a lively discussion. I discuss my own subjects. It's okay to disagree. It's okay not to agree. Yes, Q&A.
Phật, thầy con không hiểu, có thể là cái lời chỉ dạy của vị tăng này quá cao siêu, hay là cũng có thể là lời dạy của ngài không có đúng theo con nghĩ. Nó có một trong hai trường hợp đó, nhưng mà thường thì mình phải làm thân giáo, là mình phải làm trước rồi mình nói sau, chứ mình nói cho thiên hạ làm mà mình không làm thì con thấy nó không có được suôn sẻ lắm.
Amitabha, Master, I might not understand the teaching of this highly Sanghan. Maybe because his teaching is too superior, so that it might be right or wrong. So to me personally, I think that you have to 身教, like you personally cultivate first before you tell other people to do so.
Yeah, cool technology. You can look at his eyes, his face when he's talking. Way in the back there. I only see like a shadow because the lights are so bright here from where I sit. But now I actually can see his eyes in his glasses. He has no hair. So how cool technology is. Okay, anyone else? It's so cool. Yes. He's right in a sense. Oh, now Diego is woke up. You're a bad role model for Ron. Fourth day, Ron can look, in 4 days I can lie down like him. Yes, go ahead, 3.
Thank you, Master. I think, like for example, in my case that I'm cultivating right now, and my wife, she's taking care of all the things in the house. So I was thinking that she may have a lot of blessings because she's helping me be here. She won't be able to cultivate now, but she's planting the seeds for doing it in the future. So I think that's what happened with the emperor. He's helping all of his subjects. So he's planting the seeds that in a future life he will be able to really cultivate.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Speaking like a smart politician. Anyone else? Isn't it interesting? It makes sense to me. Go ahead, Q&A.
Con nghĩ cái lời khuyên của vị sư người Ấn này đó là nó không có chấp vào tướng. Bởi vì khi mà một ông vua mà dùng cái đức trị để cảm hóa muôn dân thì cái đó nó quan trọng hơn là cái chuyện ăn chay hay là ăn mặn. A Di Đà Phật.
Amitabha, I think that the advice from this Indian monk is not to attach to the mark itself, because once you become a king, an emperor, you use your virtue to rule, and cảm hóa is to change, convert, transform 10,000 of your subjects. That is more important than for you to become vegetarian and not drinking wine.
Okay, very good. Sounds good. Yeah, okay. You all make sense from your perspective. Okay, let's talk about, let's discuss it. Let me give you my 2 cents worth. Okay, he says, so the emperor heard of his cultivation, so he says, we could use someone, excuse me, of your wisdom here. So please come to the capital. And he went there. So kudos to the emperor for inviting a person of virtue to the capital to shed lights on his problems and provide new perspectives for the country. Okay, that's so important. And this is a great emperor. This is something that should be encouraged, and it's not happening anymore. Okay, that's the advantage of having the emperor. So in a Chinese system where they have an emperor, and that's why they don't have to worry that much about re-election and or allegation of fraud and so forth. Okay, so there's a real advantage here that they have. That he has. So invited here to go to Nanjing, and he went there, emperor says, I have this burning question. I want to be vegetarian. Okay, but it's too complicated. It's not that simple. I cannot be vegetarian, so how do I become vegetarian? I can't. I try to be vegetarian, but I can't. And what happened is that this is what happens when you as a monk go to the emperor's office. Okay? You now have to talk to the emperor, and you have to give the emperor something that more suitable for him, for the emperor. So he says, you're not a commoner, so you're different. Okay? My point here is that, to me, from a purist perspective, this is compromising. Be careful now. He's going to unravel a little bit later. He's compromising himself. He says, I cultivate, but my cultivation is different from yours. Therefore, I excuse you from being vegetarian. I can be vegetarian, others can be vegetarian, but you can be excused. Okay? That is a compromise that usually occurs because you're under pressure. You're given all these honors, all the attention, the promise of support. You don't have to go back to the mountain anymore. And so it's tempting for you as a monk. Sangwok is laughing now. He says, okay? If you go to the, you go and there, this great things you can get. Warmth, food, water, sewage, toilets, nice bathrooms for us Americans, okay? Okay, insulation, a roof over your head. You don't have to walk in the rain anymore. And you don't have to go down to the river and fetch water anymore. You have running water. So you have different frame of perspectives. all of a sudden. And therefore, you speak differently. And this is what he says. You are different. I understand. To me, this is sort of like parallel, the parallel worlds. Okay? I cultivate, we cultivate, but you don't have to. But your cultivation is different. Why does it have to be different? Are you kidding me? So you're exempt from the commoner's cultivation? So since when is Buddhism discriminatory? He says, I teach you differently from the next person. Because you're different, because you're better, because you are higher status. That's what you run the risk of making your Dharma look like. You have a Dharma that serves the emperor and make it more convenient for him when the commoners still have to suffer. That Dharma is fine. Okay? But it's not pure Mahayana. I doubt that Master Shua would say that. I doubt it very much. He's dead already, so I can't confirm it. Yes, 8.
I see the Phật thầy, con không understand that why the emperor cannot be vegetarian. I think.
Well, it doesn't matter. The reason is that he says, I can't. It's too complicated. It's too very difficult for me. And the guy immediately says, I understand. I understand where you're coming from. Don't worry. You're exempt. And here's how you can be exempted.
Sound like
You don't need to know the details, but the point is that he's too quick at jumping to the rescue the emperor. That's my problem. Yes, 4.
From Brady, changing food habits to vegetarian is a method of achieving the greatest good to the greatest many.
Come again?
Changing food habits to vegetarian is a method of achieving the greatest good to the greatest many.
Yes, true. Continue.
From Zhihong, in Chinese, we also say 上行下效, which means what is done at the top, those below will follow suit. That is also how the awesome virtue is manifested, another way of teaching.
Absolutely. Buddhism is to teach by example. You cannot say, you should be vegetarian, but I, as an emperor, don't have to be vegetarian because I have state duties. I need to drink with the other emperors. It's necessary for me to force a strong relationship with other emperors because I need to drink with them, I need to go hunting with them, I need to go eat meat with them, lobsters with them, steak and so forth. When you're not enlightened, like the emperor clearly wasn't, you cannot have exemptions like this. That's not the middle way. All of a sudden, the emperor, the Japanese emperor, for example, this is what happened in Japanese Buddhism. What happened is the monks came and taught them, and then or the Japanese monks came to China and learned a lot from a great Chinese teacher. They brought it back and said, I'm going to bring back this great teaching here to my country in Japan. He came back. Emperor called him and said, oh, wonderful, you back. Okay, and exactly what happened here. Same thing happened in Japan. He says, Buddhism is giving exemptions to the Japanese emperor. You don't have to be vegetarian. You can kill. And that's why the shogun would at night read the Buddha Sutra and in the morning and say, go kill. Because they're exempt. So now, Buddhism in Japan serves the emperor, serves the royalty first, not the whole nation. Because they thinking that you serve the emperor, therefore you serve the nation. So there are double standards in Buddhism. It's no longer Buddhism, you have double standards for confused people. Confused people are confused people. Whether you're an emperor or not, you're still confused. Therefore, you must be taught how to remove your confusion. You don't, you will destroy Buddhism. That's what happened in Japan. Buddhism in Japan is personally weird. The double standards for confused people. The emperor's confused, but no, since you're emperor, therefore you're exempt. All these things, therefore you never become enlightened. If you never become enlightened, how are you going to be able to sponsor Buddhism in a proper way? If I allow a Chinese doctor who sponsors me to tell me what to do, or influence my actions, how can I cultivate? I'm asking you. It's a very fundamental question. If I need to answer to you. I need to answer someone who pays for my bills. That's bound to happen. Yes? This is why the Chinese Chan masters would not go to the capital city upon the emperor's invitation. They say, hey, it's not going to work for me. I can't teach you. You're looking for a dharma from me to suit your needs as an emperor, not as a confused emperor. You see the angle here is that he's confused emperor. And this guy here is giving him exemptions for an enlightened emperor. You understand? You're an enlightened emperor, you don't have to be vegetarian. You can eat anything you want. I can't care less. But if you're confused and you want to become enlightened, become a better emperor, you better be vegetarian. Is it clear? That's why this kind of brand of Buddhism cannot go very far with the emperor, with the country. It didn't last. I don't have any writing or any things from this Gunther Kai, Indian guy. If he has it, I would throw it in a trash can myself. This kind of Buddhism serves the emperor's needs to help him remain confused. How can he be a better emperor if he's allowed to remain confused? This is not a popularity contest. It's not because we need to say something to make the president happy or the emperor happy or the party secretary happy, whatever, okay? It's about what we tell you to help you remove your confusion. That's our jobs. Not to perpetuate your confusion. Because this guy, the emperor, started with a good intention. He says, I want to remove my confusion. I feel that being vegetarian is a good thing for me to get started. Instead of encouraging it, he says, no, you can be exempted. That's what you say to emperors, to please them. You're special, you're exempt from this. You're not as confused, Your confusion will go away eventually. It's a sales pitch. This is what this guy is doing to the emperor. That's why the emperor, what? So happy, he says, I will build temples for you. I will sponsor a lot of monks and nuns. And the guy went away and said, see, I helped Buddhism become stronger in China. My mission accomplished. Better in the back. Mission accomplished. I built temples. I have monks and nuns studying Buddhism. Resounding success. Can the monks and nuns who depend on such money, such temples, become enlightened, you think? Have you thought about it? Huh? If this temple here, you came to do a chanchi, came about because I stole money from others, I cheated others, okay? In order for the big goal of helping humanity, helping build Buddhism, what are your chances of becoming enlightened if the foundation of your cultivation of this chanchi is based on corruption and thievery and delusion? The food you eat will be tainted. The water you drink. Okay? Yes, 6.
Brady has here, surely you cannot be a confused emperor and really be enlightened, right, Master?
Come again?
Brady McBride has here on YouTube. Surely you cannot be a confused emperor and really be enlightened, right, Master?
Of course not. I feel for this emperor. He started with good intentions. And this guy says, you know what, I have a way, I have an exemption for you. I would throw him out myself. I want no special treatment, you hear? I'm confused. Treat me like a confused person. That's why I ask. It's important because when you come to a temple, okay, you know different from this emperor here. He says, I want to be vegetarian. I want to open my wisdom. I want to cultivate, okay? And because you drive a nice car, and we notice it because you have cameras here in the parking lot. I say, oh, look at that. Who is that? It's Vicky, Lexus, SUV. Okay? So, treat her differently. You know, I remember I was at Blue Mountain Temple. Okay, that tiny, tiny temple over there is not even a temple, like 2 houses put together. About the size of 2 houses put together. And Gu Yin is there because Gu Yin was cooking for us. Okay, back then. It was good times back then. Now Gu Yin doesn't have time for us anymore. So I remember we were very poor and no one took us seriously. And because the relics came, and so I think it's a Vietnamese gentleman family came to our temple because they heard of the relics. So they asked, can we see the relics? Okay, and whatever. And then after they, were shown relics, okay, and they presented me with a check, okay, $1,500. Okay, immediately he wrote a check. Can I make a donation, Master? $1,500. I still remember it. It's a big check for me. And so my point here is that very rarely did I find a first-time visitor give me a check of $1,500. So immediately I said, what kind of car does he drive? So surely enough, it's a Mercedes S-Class. Five something, it's not even four. So my point here is that they do things to expect special treatment. So what did I do? I took a check, I put it in my pocket, and it's only later I found out $1,500. I usually take a check and put it in my pocket, okay, to show, oh, thank you. Okay, I don't go like this. Because if I go in like this, I'd be, oh, thank you so much. Okay, so put it like that. And later, that's when I found out the amount. But he was disappointed. It showed in his face. I mean, he said like, is that all? Thank you, that's it? No tea? You're not going to talk to me? Seriously? I just spent $1,500 for nothing? You got my point? This guy expects special treatment, and the monk gave it to him immediately. That's why his Dharma didn't last very long. Because he's serving the elite. Yes, 3.
Thank you, Master. So we can say that he climbed on conditions?
Yes, exactly. That's what Master Shinhua said. Don't climb on conditions. You cultivate. When you're a monk, you better climb on conditions. Because I said, S-Class only? Come on, if you're rich, you come to my temple, at least drive a Bentley. Then I pay attention to you. No one yet. That's why I'm saying Bentley, okay? When the next guy drives a Bentley, I say, only a Bentley? Maybach, man. Anyway, so he says, the emperor wanted 5 priests vegetarian or eat meat, and then Gung Te Kai immediately says, I give you an exemption. You are the exception. Of course, you are the exception. I will exempt you from it. Here's the problem. This is why the virtuous Chan masters refuse to go to the capital city to see the emperor and talk to the emperor. Because you go there, you're bound to do this. If you didn't, the emperor would be offended. Like what happened to Bodhidharma. Emperor Wu of Liang dynasty didn't hear what he wanted from great master Bodhidharma. And that's why later on, Emperor Wu of the Liang dynasty fell and became a hungry ghost. His mistreatment of Bodhidharma precipitated it. So if you do it wrong, you push them down to fall. And if you do it right, they will be offended and then they will ostracize Buddhism. This is why you better off not getting near them. And see, clearly Gungta Kai was not enlightened yet. That's why he climbed on conditions immediately. Is that clear? So you understand the difference between you and Gungta Kai. Do you understand? You can be doing a Chan Chi for 20 years. Like that Taiwanese monk I met. He says, I go to China for 20 years now, 8 months. Typically, I spend 8 months of the year in China doing the Chan Chi. But if you do that, and you don't have the proper foundation, you can't get very far. This is why you should be so grateful. This is why every evening, morning ceremony, evening ceremony, what do we do? Say, do not climb on conditions. Because if you do, you may be practicing for 20 years, okay? But your doctor supporter calls, say, hey, and you climb on conditions, all your merit and virtues are gone. It takes people like Bodhidharma, like Master Shenhua, who decided to make personal sacrifices. Bodhidharma could have a huge series of temples throughout China and spread Buddhism very quickly. All he had to do is be nice to Emperor Wu of Liang dynasty. That's all it took. Why not? He could have done it, but he didn't. Why not? So that he could transmit it to the second Chinese patriarch, the pure Dharma, not a corrupted Dharma that has been contaminated by power, by money, by influence. Because that, whatever he transmitted to second patriarch, Hui Ge, is a pure Dharma. If he had the temples and he gave all those temples to Hui Ge and say, hey, listen, you're my successor and you have all these institutions, all these followers that you can build upon, okay? Chinese Buddhism would not be as strong, as great as it was. Now you understand why every morning, every evening, you recite, okay, what is it, the 3 principles? Huh? I forgot. You better not forget. Hey, retired spy, what are the 3 principles? You better remember.
Mô Phật và Thầy. Mình Quảng Ngân muốn nói thì cũng hơi dài nữa. Giống cái ông sư này đó, ổng bây giờ kể về cái ông sư này, ổng ở Ấn Độ, ổng qua mà ổng nói chuyện tiếp xúc với cái ông vua Đế Thích này đó, là ổng cũng có một cái định lực. Rồi cái người ông vua này đó, ông vua Đế Thích này đó, thì ổng cũng có một cái nước của ổng đó, là cái quyền lực của ổng rất là mạnh. Mà ông vua này đó, ông sư này đó, thì ổng mới khuyên ông này, bây giờ ông á, làm tốt, làm cái gì đó là ông miễn phí hết. Là ông vua Đế Thích này, ông nghe ông cũng tung luận theo, thì ông cũng độ được một số người, chứ không phải là không đâu. Mà cái ông sư này đó, ông cũng độ được cái ông vua Đế Thích này nữa. Mà rồi đó còn muốn đi vô sâu thêm nữa đó, thì muốn lên tới đại thừa đó, thì cái đó là thì để tùy theo cho ông tu thêm một cấp bậc nữa. Thầy ngồi nghĩ thầy này, cái ông sư này đó, thầy ổng cũng có một cái định lực mà để ông độ cái ông vua Đế Thích này. Ông vua Đế Thích này đó là ổng một cái nước đó là ổng cái quyền lực ông rất là mạnh, biết không? Ông muốn người ta sống là sống, muốn người ta chết là chết, muốn người sao mà ông độ được cái ông này đó, ông khỏi ăn chay, ăn miễn phí rồi này kia, là cúng một cái tốt cứu cho một cái đất nước này. Thì ông sư này ông cũng độ được cái ông vua Đế Thích này những cái giống ngày Hòa Thượng Tuyên Hóa vậy đó. Nói ông Bút đó, cha Bút đó, ông á, bây giờ muốn nghe lời tôi đó thì ông trong vòng 4 năm cái tiền lương này ông lãnh, mà ông có dám làm không? Ông Bút ông không có dám làm, bởi vì không có dám làm thì sư phụ đó thì cũng không có cho một cái quyền lực, không có cho một cái quyền lực cho ổng để cho ổng thấy. Mô Phật.
Amitabha Master, Boyin would like to say something, but it's kind of long. Just like this monk, he came from India. He met with the emperor and talked to the emperor. That means that he has to have samadhi. This emperor, he has a power over the country, so he's very powerful. So then this monk taught the emperor to do that, and the emperor do as instructed. That means that the emperor actually crossed over many people, not just like that, but if he wanted to go deep into Mahayana, he has to cultivate in a different level. So therefore, I think that the monk can cross over the emperor in that way, must have samadhi, and he also cross over many people in that way. Just like Venerable Xuanhua, he wanted to cross over the Bush father. Master Huat said that if you wanted to continue to become a president, you must not receive for your your wages for 4 years. Therefore, I think Venerable Shenhua wanted to teach the Buddha fathers that way.
Mm-hmm. So that's why it's important for you to appreciate the foresight of Master Shenhua. He says, 动死不攀缘，饿死不化缘，穷死不求缘. Got that? That's the spirit. And that's why I commend the second patriarch. That's what he's doing. It got transmitted to the second generation. Because Master Shenhua had to make sacrifices in order for that to happen. Okay? So he says, oh, you exempt, you're not a commoner. You don't have much awesome virtue. Waiter. Waiter here is not awesome virtue. Here, waiter here in the sense of you don't have the ability to keep people in awe or your influence, power influence. Okay, but it's okay. You understand the concept here. He says you have a lot of influence, you have a lot of power, okay, and virtue. Unlike you, commander doesn't have it. You don't have. Therefore, you are exempt. Okay, and here's what happens to a politician, like the emperor says, okay, yeah, okay, then I don't have to cultivate. I'm special. There's a way. This Dharma is cool. This Dharma makes exceptions for me. Even though I'm, still confused, I'm exempt. I have a problem with that. When I listen to this, I say, oh my God, this really hurts. For what? You need to benefit all citizens. And it says all kinds of good deeds, that's cultivation. Okay? And need to do things and benefit citizens. So basically it says it's practice giving. That's his Dharma door. He says, you just practice giving. You don't worry about keeping precepts or take the hard way. Okay, you are exempt from hard work and from making personal sacrifices. You just ask others to make sacrifices. And that's Buddhism for the royalty. You see? Sounds familiar? That's what happens in Japan. You can decree policy benevolence, only do policy. You have to tell them to kill less, it will save many lives. You see, of course it's true. And this is a sales pitch from a monk using the Buddhist principles disguised as Buddhist instructions. It's just a sales pitch. This emperor says, I want to cultivate, I want to be vegetarian. Can you help me? He says, no, you don't have to be vegetarian. It's too difficult for you. Well, you know why not? Because you are special. This is what I, as an emperor, hear from what this monk was telling me. I'm special. Continue to be special. So there's a Buddhism for the emperors and Buddhism for the commoners. Isn't that cool? I stick to the Buddhism for the emperor. You get it now? Disagreeing Taiwanese person? See, so now because you are one, and you only have to worry about yourself, worry about the 老百姓, the 1,000, the 10,000, the 10 million. If you get them to do the good deeds, you don't have to. It's the same as you doing good deeds. Yeah, so wonderful. Buddhism can be so wonderful. Get you to cultivate. I don't have to cultivate because I'm the emperor. So I am the head of family. I don't need to cultivate. You woman, go cultivate. You children, go do Chan Chi and so forth. Okay? And you do become enlightened. I can also become enlightened then. Yes, 7.
Thank you, Master. In other talks that you've given, you've emphasized that for lay people, there must be a middle way. And when I see him talking to the emperor, I think of him as the ultimate lay person. He has to take on the responsibilities of every type of lay life, be it a soldier, a cook, a guest, host, everything he must do that a lay person might have to do. And so I see him giving Dharma of, like you said, giving in any way that he can because he's so entrenched in the lay life. What would be his middle way?
What is what?
What would be the emperor's middle way?
Be vegetarian. That's a middle way. The middle way means that when you're not enlightened yet, there's a way for you to become enlightened. After you become enlightened, and then your way is different. So that's why it's very important to differentiate when you are confused. The teachings are designed to help you end your confusion. When you are no longer confused, it's different. Okay? So this emperor is confused. So he can only have to teach the commoners not to kill. Therefore, he's being vegetarian. What kind of Buddhism is that? I never heard of any such thing. You teach all commoners to be filial towards your parents, then you can go ahead and kill your parents. Because you only kill one set of parents, whereas you have 100 million people who are being filial to their own parents. Therefore, this is nothing. And you ask commoners to change from good to evil, evil to good, and that's you as well. So you don't have to eat less meat or drink less alcohol because you're getting others to cultivate for you. It's just like this lady here says, my husband will cultivate for me, and therefore I'm cultivating. Duh. Sounds good? Buddhism is wonderful. As long as you order a commoners to him doing evil and doing good, then this is your own cultivation. And he's so happy, he said, this is such, Buddhism is so wonderful, I will build temples for you. And you know why? I never heard such great things. Because the other monks could not explain it to me because they're confused about conditions. And the confusions, and they are confused about principles only. They can't advise me in what to do. And what is confused about conditions, I talked about, the cycles, the cause and effect, retribution will fail. Because, hey, I'm exempt. They couldn't even understand I'm exempt. You see that? That's what it means. I read this, what is it talking about? Oh, yeah, him. I'm exempt. I'm exempt from cause and effect. This Buddhism is fantastic. And the Confucians who brainwashed the Chinese very well, Asians very well. You lucky you're not Asian. We all brainwashed by Confucius. There's some good parts about it, but when you get to a high level, it's so darn confusing. Confucius was very good for stupid people who need to be kept in check to serve the emperor. You guys are lucky. You know, you're not Asian, trust me. Because the Asians are brainwashed. When I teach my Asian disciples to a high level, now I said, let me tell you, don't quote me your Confucian value systems. It doesn't apply to me, doesn't apply to us. Brainwashing is necessary for confused people. They're not designed to help them open the wisdom. They're only designed to keep them in check. That's all. So it's packaged under, you be humane, you have to be filial, you have to respect the rights, you have to respect authority in order to keep you in check. That's all. You need to blindly follow. Okay, so So that's why they have a lot of articles in classical literature, and they say these are the principles of humanity, humaneness, of etiquette, and so forth, okay? I'm not saying they're not important. They're important, okay? However, when you need to also be free from those constraints in order for your wisdom, your true wisdom to unfold. Confucius never intended to develop wisdom in the people. That's why the Buddha had to come. You get it? If Confucius was able to do it, why would the Buddha need to come to the world? Why did the Chinese have to go to China? And the patriarch had to go to China. So from today's discussion with the great master, I have a clear understanding of the great way of heaven and human beings. Meaning, I'm the son of heaven, I'm exempt. You human beings are not. It's disgusting. I read this, I feel like barfing. What kind of Buddhism is this? You cannot teach confused people this way. There's no foundation for this guy, for his brand of Buddhism. His temple, see? As a result, he built Qi Huan Temple. You give me that temple, I would take it, but then I would sell it right away. Because it's corrupt. I don't want it to be known as a Buddhist temple. I would take it because it costs money, okay? Sell it so, to a non-Buddhist person so that it ceases to be a Buddhist temple. We have our standards. And this is the problem with the young monks who says, I'm going to build temples. I'm going to save a lot of people. I'm going to teach people about Pure Land Buddhism and confuse the heck out of them. But at least someday they'll be saved. Buddha said so. You recite my name, you'll be guaranteed rebirth to the Pure Land. It might take a little bit longer, but at least you get reborn to the Pure Land. Isn't it better? That's why I call corrupt Pure Land Buddhism. It's not for everyone. Yes, it's good to have to go to these corrupt temples and so forth because that's all you got. It's okay too. But not for us. No thanks. And the sixth patriarch, all the great patriarchs says, no thanks. Yeah, let, what's his name? Sheng Xiu go to the emperor, okay, and get the royal patronage and build a lot of temples and make Buddhism such widespread throughout China. Wonderful. Sixth patriarch says, not for me. I will teach my followers, my handful of followers. That's good enough. Okay? Buddhism is big enough so that it has Sheng Xiu to serve such people, the Lao Bai Xing. And then the sixth patriarch says, I'm going to teach only, a superset of people. That's it. So that Buddhism had different levels. I'm not saying he shouldn't do it. Okay? This Gung Te Kai is okay. If he builds temple and he talks to the emperor like that, it's okay too. There's nothing wrong with it. But not for us. Not for me. That's all I'm saying. I'm not taking our high road or anything. I'm just saying Buddhism has many different gradations, many different levels. Which one do you want? Is that clear? That's all. It's your personal choice. We're not going to stop you from going to, Qi Huan Temple. Go. Have fun. But when you come back, take a shower. It's fun. It's okay. We embrace it all. You understand? Please don't understand that I'm a high road. I don't care. And this is inferior. No. For us, it's that it's not for us. You know? Buddhism still serves Japan well in a certain way. Okay? It helps. It prepares them. Just like my late father, he went to a lot of teachers. Vietnamese teachers, famous ones, and Tibetan teachers, and all those things. Eventually, he ended up on Master Hsuan Hua, and that's how I look at that and say, oh, they're being prepared to go. It's okay. That's Buddhism too. Okay, time is up, everyone. Thank you. So remember, Super Lotto. Now back to the real world, okay? We talk all we want, but we still need to eat tomorrow. You know, I can't express how grateful I am to Master Hsuan Hua. His teaching is so profound and provide a guiding light for myself personally. You know, that is priceless. That's why we're doing this. Spread the word. He's a great teacher. His disciples may not understand it, may not appreciate it as much as they're supposed to. But the teaching is fantastic. It's such pure Buddhism, untainted. Okay? Thank you.